Chapter 2780. Chaos 9 Axes. Today, Longao had mastered the first and second axes of chaos. All along, Longao had been constantly cultivating the Chaos 9 axes and the so-called 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra. Without exception. No matter how hard he cultivated, there was no breakthrough in the 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra, and the previous 6 revolutions were all between life and death. Did he really have to die again to break through the 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra's 7th revolution? Longao didn't dare to do so. Although he had the immortal primordial spirit, but who knew if the situation would change? If he was unlucky and really died, he wouldn't even have the chance to regret. Because of this, the 9 Revolution Chaos Mantra had been unable to break through because of the power brought by the first 6 revolutions. Longao was looking forward to breaking through the 7th revolution, and even the final 8 and 9 revolutions. As for the Chaos 9 axes, Longao had just cultivated the first and second axes. After such a long time, there was still no way to cultivate the third axe. But now, just as Kang Lin and Emperor Yun were fighting, Longao suddenly entered an epiphany. Strictly speaking, he entered an epiphany of the Chaos 9 axes, and the one he comprehended was the third axe. Chaos 9 axes, the third axe, absolute power. Dozens of minutes later, Longao suddenly opened his eyes, and 2 rays of light shot out. Although his cultivation base didn't improve at all, Longao was full of confidence. With his current strength, killing a half-step starry sky dominator was simply a matter of minutes. Secret realms weren't so-called chaos divine tools, but powerful starry sky divine tools. In other words, it didn't matter whether he refined the secret realms or not, and the half-step starry sky dominator who refined the secret realms was only at the peak of the starry sky immortal realm. As long as he refined the chaos tablet, he could cross the peak and enter the starry sky dominator realm. What a powerful Chaos 9 axes! Longao of course knew that he had only comprehended the third axe, but could kill a half-step starry sky dominator. It was hard to imagine if he could comprehend the fourth axe, then even if he didn't refine the chaos tablet, would he be able to contend against the starry sky dominator? He didn't know. Without comprehending the fourth axe, whether he could contend against the starry sky dominator was unknown. But now, Longao was very satisfied. Whether it was the 9 Revolutions Chaos Mantra or the Chaos 9 axes, both were incomparably heaven-defying existences. Kang Lin and Emperor Yun exchanged a palm strike and each took 3 steps back. Kang Lin had lost this battle. However, it was impossible for Cloud Emperor to kill Kang Lin. The Sky Thunder Sword and Engulfing Coffin returned to their respective hands. Kang Lin's expression was a little ugly, but she forcefully suppressed it. Emperor Yun, I, Longao, will remember what you did to me today. In the future, I will pay you back double. You! Yidugu suddenly laughed. Not to mention Emperor Yun and Yun Lu, even if it was him, Longao wouldn't be able to defeat him. He was simply arrogant to the extreme. Countless Yidugu. Longao, do you think you can leave this place alive? Yun Di and Yun Lu found it a little funny. Things had already turned out this way. Even Kang Lin was no match for them. It was hard to imagine what gave Longao such confidence that he actually dared to boast shamelessly here. Just because of the spatial chaos divine artifact. As long as they could deal with Kang Lin, they would be able to find a way to break the spatial chaos divine artifact. By then, given Longao's strength, facing so many starry sky dominators, there was no doubt he would die. How could Longao not know what Emperor Yun and the others were thinking? But he was depressed. If he was alone, he could enter the Chaos Palace. Not even Emperor Yun could break his Chaos Palace, let alone the others. But now, the situation was completely different. For some unknown reason, Kang Lin couldn't enter the Chaos Palace. This situation had never happened before. If Kang Lin couldn't enter the Chaos Palace, he couldn't enter either. He couldn't leave Kang Lin alone outside. Kang Lin, let's leave together. The current Kang Lin had become a timid little bird. She would do whatever Longao said. Yidugu really couldn't stand Longao. He didn't know if it was because Longao was originally from the Martial Sky continent, but in his eyes, Longao was just an ant-like existence. He didn't expect that in just a few hundred years, Longao would grow to such a level. Without the slightest hesitation, Yi Dugu took a step forward and charged at Longao. One punch. In the eyes of the crowd, if Yi Dugu and Longao met force with force, Longao wouldn't be able to withstand this punch. After all, even a half-step Starry Sky Dominator couldn't withstand a punch from a Starry Sky Dominator, let alone a peak Starry Sky Immortal. Humph. Kang Lin snorted coldly. She didn't expect that Yi Dugu would want to attack in front of her. He was simply overestimating himself. However, before Kang Lin could make a move, Longao took the lead. However, it wasn't his fist, but the Chaos Axe in his hand. The third Chaos Axe, absolute killing power. After comprehending the third Chaos Axe, Longao also wanted to test his current strength. Even though he knew that he wasn't a match for the Starry Sky Dominator, what happened next shocked everyone. With a loud bang, Longao took 3 steps back, but Yi Dugu was directly blown away. Although Yi Dugu stopped in mid-air and was not injured, even so, he was so shocked that he couldn't even speak. Was this for real? Not to mention the others, even Cloud Emperor was a little shocked. Longao was only a peak Starry Sky Immortal. Even if he was powerful and talented, it was impossible for him to contend against the Starry Sky Dominator, let alone a half-step Starry Sky Dominator. However, just now, Longao had sent Yi Dugu flying with a single blow. Longao's strength wasn't at that level. The only explanation was that the Chaos Divine tool in his hand was too overbearing. It was even more powerful than the Sky Thunder Sword. This was before Longao truly mastered the Chaos Divine tool. If he did, it was hard to imagine who would win in a battle between Longao and Yi Dugu. Kang Lin also didn't expect this. She said in surprise, "Longao, your Chaos Divine tool is really powerful. I have a feeling that even my engulfing coffin is no match for it. I'll tell you later." Longao certainly knew that although the Chaos Axe was a Chaos Divine tool, he still couldn't truly master it and display its true power. The only reason he could contend against Yi Dugu was because of the Chaos 9 Axes. If he hadn't comprehended the third Chaos Axe, it would have been impossible. However, Longao also knew that even if he had comprehended the third Chaos Axe, he still wasn't a match for the Starry Sky Dominator. Chapter 2781. Dugu, what's going on? Master Godly Mathematician's face was gloomy because he still didn't believe that Longao could contend with his son. It was complete nonsense. The biggest problem was the Chaos Divine tool in Longao's hand. He was furious, but more than that, he was greedy. If he could get his hands on the Chaos Divine tool, Master Godly Mathematician began to plot. "Father, Longao's strength seems to have improved a lot. Maybe it's because of his epiphany. Not because of the Chaos Divine tool." Yi Dugu used his spiritual sense to communicate, so the others couldn't hear him. Master Godly Mathematician was shocked to the extreme. If that was the case, Longao was too abnormal. He was only a peak Starry Sky Immortal, not even a half-step Starry Sky Dominator, but he could contend with a Starry Sky Dominator. It was hard to imagine. If Longao really refined the Chaos Stone Tablet in his body and became a Starry Sky Dominator, what kind of strength would he have if he used the Chaos Divine tool? Longao would die. "Longao, do you think you can leave like this? It's not up to you to decide whether we can leave or not." Huh. Seeing that Longao was so confident, Cloud Emperor's heart was not as confident. He had already heard a lot about Longao from Yunlu. Some of these things even he found inconceivable. But thinking about it, Emperor Yun felt that he was overthinking. Even if Longao's strength was a little stronger because of his epiphany, it was impossible for him to leave under their watch. Not even with Kang Lin's help. Even Kang Lin was very curious. She knew best how strong Emperor Yun and the others were. How could she and Longao leave? Longao didn't care. "Kang Lin, let's kill our way out." Hearing this, Kang Lin was a little stunned. Although she knew that there was a slim chance of survival, she nodded without hesitation. At the same time, she didn't even say a word. Longao and Kang Lin wanted to force their way out? Emperor Yun laughed. So did Yun Lu. Master God Diviner and the others chuckled. No one knew if Longao was out of his mind. Trying to force his way out of 14 rulers of stars, one of whom was a ruler of stars who had mastered the power of primal chaos, was simply ridiculous. Not to mention Longao, even Kang Lin might not be able to do it. Cloud Emperor smiled and said, "Kang Lin, I'm giving you one last chance. As long as you leave now, I won't pursue the matter from before." No one objected. Kang Lin's strength was there for all to see. Apart from Emperor Yun, no one could keep Kang Lin here. Also, Cloud Emperor had made it clear that there was a force behind Kang Lin. It was hard to imagine how strong this force was, but no one was willing to provoke it. As for Yun Lu and the others, they didn't speak out to persuade him because they were very clearly aware of his father's intentions. In the end, his father was still unwilling to offend Kang Lin, and unless it was a last resort, his father wasn't willing to shed all pretenses with the power that stood behind Kang Lin. If that really happened, it wouldn't benefit anyone. Cloud Emperor was also very depressed. If it were anyone else, he wouldn't even waste his breath on them and would just kill them. Except for Kang Lin. If Kang Lin was alone, even if she had already grasped the primal chaos energy, it wouldn't be a problem for her to kill Kang Lin for the sake of obtaining the 2 primal chaos divine weapons, one of which was a spatial primal chaos divine weapon. But in the end, the family behind Kang Lin was too powerful. If this matter wasn't handled properly, the consequences would be unimaginable. It was precisely because of this. After hesitating for a long time, Cloud Emperor ultimately didn't want to touch Kang Lin. It wasn't because he was afraid of Kang Lin, but because he was wary of the power behind Kang Lin. As for silencing her, he couldn't do it because in order to do so, he first had to be able to kill Kang Lin and then kill everyone here, except for Yun Lu and the other 2. Obviously, it wasn't possible. She snorted coldly. Looking coldly at the crowd in front of her, Kang Lin didn't continue to hide. Instead, she approached Longao and pulled his hand, saying, "In life, I am Longao's man, and in death, I am Longao's ghost." What did that mean? The crowd wasn't stupid and instantly understood what Kang Lin meant. She wouldn't abandon him, even if she had to die with Longao. The others were fine, but Cloud Emperor, Yun Lu, and the other 3's faces instantly turned cold. The power behind Kang Lin wasn't to be underestimated. They really didn't want to deal with Kang Lin. However, when they thought of the 2 chaos divine weapons in Longao's hands and other secrets, Cloud Emperor and the others felt a little murderous. It wasn't impossible to kill Kang Lin for the chaos divine weapons. "Kang Lin, let's go." Holding the chaos axe, Longao didn't continue to hesitate. He pulled Kang Lin's hand and rushed out. Under the time teleportation, Longao's speed had soared to the extreme. Not only that, the chaos axe in Longao's hand continuously slashed out. This time, Longao didn't just use the 3rd axe, he even used the 2nd axe. He wanted to create a crack in the starry sky. Only then would they have a chance to leave. Others didn't dare to barge into the crack in the starry sky, but that didn't mean Longao didn't. Longao had already thought about it. Instead of being trapped here, he might as well take a risk. Even if he was swallowed by the crack in the starry sky, he had to leave this place. Again, who knew how long they would be trapped here? Unless he could refine the attribute-less Chaos Stone tablet in his body, but it didn't seem very possible. The 2 of them weren't far from the entrance. With Longao's time teleportation and the crack in the starry sky, they soon arrived at the entrance. Just as Kang Lin was about to leave with Longao, the situation suddenly changed. "Longao, what are you doing? You have to wait for me." After saying that, Longao pushed Kang Lin out and entered the crack in the starry sky. Longao knew very well that as long as he didn't leave, Kang Lin wouldn't leave. Under the circumstances of not being able to enter the Chaos Palace, Kang Lin could very well die here. He definitely couldn't implicate Kang Lin. It wasn't just Kang Lin. Even Emperor Yun and the others were completely dumbfounded. Although they knew that Longao could break open the crack in the starry sky, they didn't expect Longao to dare to step into the crack in the starry sky. Because they knew very well what the crack in the starry sky meant. Even if it was Longao, once he stepped into the crack in the starry sky, he would definitely die. Everyone knew what Longao meant. Although they were enemies with Longao was still worthy of respect. However, when they thought that Longao would definitely die if he stepped into the crack in the starry sky, and that his 2 Chaos Divine artifacts would be swallowed by the crack in the starry sky, the faces of Emperor Yun and the others turned ugly. Chapter 2782. The Divine Mathematician and the rest were not disappointed. Longao was dead. Longao was finally dead. On the other hand, the Divine Mathematician and the rest hoped to see Longao fall. In that case, they would not be able to obtain the Chaos Divine artifact, and Emperor Yun would not be able to obtain the 2 Chaos Divine artifacts in Longao's hands. Before they could react, Kang Lin, who was pushed out by Longao, returned. It was too late. She saw Longao being swallowed by the spatial crack with her own eyes. Kang Lin had already stepped in, but the spatial crack disappeared too quickly. Anger. Endless anger. Because of that, regardless of the consequences, Kang Lin attacked. Even if she died here today, Kang Lin would kill these people. Emperor Yun did not hold back either. If he did not kill Kang Lin, he would be killed. As for the rest, they did not hold back either. Kang Lin's strength was very strong, especially at a time like this. Needless to say, to fight against more than 10 rulers of Starry Sky alone, one could imagine how strong Kang Lin was. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. Furthermore, Kang Lin was already mentally and physically exhausted. In just a few minutes, she was already unable to hold on. Kill. Emperor Yun and the rest had the same thought. That was to eliminate the root of the problem. No matter how strong Kang Lin's backer was, as long as they killed Kang Lin here, no one would know. Especially now, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he waited for Kang Lin to recover, it wouldn't be so easy to kill her. At this moment, the Sky Martial continent was suddenly locked down. Everyone who was about to continue attacking looked at the scene in front of them in shock. What was going on? It was not only them. Even Kang Lin, who was extremely angry and in the midst of killing, suddenly fainted. However, she was locked down in mid-air. The moment Kang Lin fainted, a huge face appeared in mid-air. The resolute face was filled with majesty, giving off an ethereal feeling. The Divine Mathematician and the rest did not know what was going on. Although they could do such a thing, to lock down 14 rulers of Starry Sky at the same time, and one of them was a ruler of Starry Sky who had grasped the Chaos Force. Who was the person in front of them? However, what everyone could be sure of was that what they saw was definitely not the true body. What kind of strength was this? It was unimaginable. Looking at the giant face that suddenly appeared in mid-air, Cloud Emperor, Yun Lu, and even Yun Tian and Yun He behind them all knelt down, their faces pale. Master God Diviner and the others were completely shocked. They were well aware of Emperor Yun's strength. However, even such an existence knelt down without saying a word when he saw the giant face in front of him. What was going on? Master God Diviner and the others stood there in a daze. Senior Kang, the giant face's expression was very indifferent, without the slightest trace of anger. The giant face said coldly, "I will remember what happened today. I will come and find you in the future. Senior." The giant face ignored Cloud Emperor and disappeared without a trace with the unconscious Kang Lin. Emperor Yun's face was gloomy. He had never thought that this person would appear all of a sudden. It seemed like he was in big trouble. "Father, why didn't he kill us?" "You think he doesn't want to?" "Since he wanted to, why?" Yun Lu was not the only one who could not understand. Even Yun Tian and Yun He could not understand what was going on. They were very clear about the strength of the giant face that had just appeared. "My original body is not here yet. He can't kill us." Yun Lu and the other 2 naturally knew what their father meant. Yun Lu asked impatiently, "Father, what should we do now?" "H, the matter that I asked you to do, you can't even complete it after so many years." "What trash." Yun Lu and the other 2 did not dare to say anything. However, they did not think much of it. After all, that matter was too difficult. Even they were helpless. If it was that easy, their father would have done it long ago. There was no need for them to wait for so many years. However, the The three of them did not dare to say it out loud. From now on, no matter what method we use, we must complete that matter. If this person is ahead of us, Yun-Di did not continue after saying this. However, the meaning behind his words was very clear. How could Yun-Lu and the others not understand? Their faces were extremely gloomy. They did not dare hesitate in the slightest as they immediately stood up and left. Sky Marshal Continent regained its peace. What had just happened? Even with Cloud Emperor's strength, he had actually knelt down in front of the giant face. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed it even if they were beaten to death. It was truly unbelievable. Everyone, I want to ask, what happened just now? Up until now, Ruo Mu was still a little dumbfounded. The scene just now had completely shocked them. If even Cloud Emperor was like this, it was hard to imagine that if that person really came with his original body, it would be extremely easy for him to kill them. They had originally thought that Cloud Emperor was a true peak existence in the vast starry sky. However, from the scene just now, it seemed that he was not. It seemed that they were still frogs at the bottom of a well. The vast starry sky was truly worthy of being called the vast starry sky. After this incident, the divine mathematician and the others were thoroughly shaken. The divine mathematician thought for a moment and said, "That senior didn't pay attention to us. If I'm not wrong, he won't look for us. However, Yun-Lu and the others will be in trouble." The divine mathematician naturally hoped that that person would kill Cloud Emperor and the others. After all, Cloud Emperor was still a threat. As for strength, the divine mathematician felt that his strength was nothing in the vast starry sky. Not to mention the giant face that had just disappeared, just Cloud Emperor and Kang Lin were existences that he couldn't compare to. There was always someone better than you. Divine mathematician, we all know what you mean. However, it's better to be safe than sorry. Who knows if that senior will come looking for us? Therefore, we must be prepared. Prepare. A person that even Cloud Emperor was afraid of? Even if they were prepared, it would be useless. The divine mathematician looked at everyone helplessly and said, "Life and death are predestined. If it really comes to that, we won't be able to do anything." The divine mathematician didn't know why, but he was sure that the giant face that had just disappeared wouldn't come looking for them. He would definitely go looking for Cloud Emperor and the others. It was a kind of intuition, but the divine mathematician believed in his intuition. Since things had already come to this, they didn't say anything more and left. In an instant, they all disappeared without a trace. Chapter 2783. Creak. The door was gently pushed open and a young lady walked in. She was dressed in coarse clothes but was very clean. Although the young lady didn't seem to be rich, it couldn't hide her beauty. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that she was devastatingly beautiful. He still hasn't woken up. Shuang Shuang, he still hasn't woken up. At this moment, a woman walked in from outside. She was also extremely beautiful, and her appearance was 50 to 60% similar to the young girl's. Qin Shuang Shuang said worriedly, "Mother, it has been 2 months and he still hasn't woken up. But I can feel that his pulse hasn't stopped. Is he in a vegetative state?" Although Qin Shuangshuang's cultivation had reached the initial stage of qi refining, she was still very naive. She didn't know what was going on with the person lying on the bed. He-Lu also didn't know what was going on. Even her daughter didn't know, let alone her. "Shuang Shuang, why don't you bring him to the 9 Immortal Palace and see if anyone can save him?" He-Lu was very clear about what the 9 Immortal Palace meant. Qin Shuangshuang sighed and said helplessly, "Mother, I'm just an outer disciple of the 9 Immortal Palace. What I can do is limited. Even if I bring him to the palace, it won't help." Thinking about her own sect, Qin Shuangshuang felt a deep sense of helplessness. Although the 9 Immortal Palace was strong, it depended on their status. Needless to say, the inner sect disciples of the 9 Immortals Palace were innumerable. However, the outer sect disciples were too numerous for a superpower like the hairs on a cow. He-Lu didn't know about the 9 Immortal Palace, so she didn't say much and turned to leave. After an unknown period of time, Longao felt that his head was in pain. It was as if someone had forcefully peeled it open. He was definitely not dead. Longao was very confident in his 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. It was also because of this that Longao dared to step into the space crack. Where was he? Just as Longao felt that his head was about to split open. You're awake. You're finally awake. I thought you would continue to sleep. Great, how do you feel now? He opened his eyes with difficulty and saw a beautiful face. It seemed that his guess was right. He wasn't dead. Instantly, he felt very helpless in his heart and sighed even more. Regarding his current situation, Longao had 10,000 helplessness in his heart. Even though he had the protection of the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit and wouldn't die even if he stepped into the spatial rift, he still had to pay a heavy price. The price. The price was a little too high. The price of forcibly entering the starry sky crack was Longao's current cultivation, which was only a grade 7 starry sky cultivator. It would not be easy for him to recover. The fact that he didn't die was already a blessing in disguise. Hey! Suddenly, Longao discovered that the world spirit energy he was in seemed to be a little too dense. Even in a high-grade material plane, such a dense world spirit energy didn't appear. What was going on? Who are you? My name is Qin Shuangshuang. What about you? My name is Longao. May I ask where I am now? Longao already knew what had happened. From the looks of it, he had forcefully stepped into the crack in the starry skies and was forcibly teleported here. Qin Shuangshuang smiled and said, "This is Maple Leaf Village. A few months ago, you were seriously injured and I saved you." Maple Leaf Village? Longao didn't care about the village. What he really cared about was which material plane he was in and where he was in the vast starry skies. Miss Qin, I want to ask, which material plane am I in now? What material plane? Huh. Longao only noticed the beautiful girl in front of him. Even if his cultivation had dropped to grade 7 starry sky cultivator, his spiritual consciousness was still at the peak of starry sky immortal spiritual consciousness. Therefore, he instantly knew the true cultivation of the girl in front of him. However, Longao was very curious about the power system in this girl's body. It seemed to be different from his own cultivation. In that case, whether this girl was a grade 1 starry sky cultivator or a grade 2 starry sky cultivator, he couldn't figure it out. However, Longao quickly determined that this girl should be a grade 1 starry sky cultivator. I grew up in a very remote place. I don't know much about this continent. Can you tell me more about it? Qin Shuangshuang was a very kind person. Otherwise, she wouldn't have saved Longao and taken care of him for several months. If it were someone else, they would have chosen to give up long ago. Qin Shuangshuang didn't hide anything and began to explain. After hearing this, Longao was a little shocked. This was because the cultivators of this plane actually cultivated another type of cultivation system. This type of cultivation system was called cultivation truth. What kind of material plane was this? Just the heaven and earth spirit chi of this material plane already made him feel incredible. If he cultivated in such a place, his cultivation would probably improve very quickly. According to Qin Shuangshuang, the material plane he was now in was called the Purple Fate Continent. There were 3 super forces jointly controlling the continent. The 3 super forces were 9 Immortals Palace, Shongqing Sect, and Qingyun Sword Sect. Qin Shuangshuang was an outer sect disciple of 9 Immortals Palace. However, outer sect disciples didn't have the slightest status. After all, for the 3 superforces, outer sect disciples were too many. The cultivators in the Purple Fate Continent could be roughly divided into 9 levels, which were Qi Refining, Foundation Establishment, Enlightening, Golden Core, Nascent Soul, Out of Body, Combination, Nirvana, and Crossing Tribulation. Qin Shuangshuang was a Qi Refining cultivator, and she was only at the primary level. After a simple sensing, Longao already knew that the 9 levels of the cultivators in the Purple Fate Continent were almost the same as the cultivators' level. It was just that the power of cultivation was different. In other words, the 2 cultivation systems corresponded to each other. Qi Refining corresponded to level 1 Starry Sky cultivators, Foundation Establishment to level 2 Starry Sky cultivators, enlightening to level 3 starry sky cultivators, golden core to level 4 starry sky cultivators, nascent soul to level 5 starry sky cultivators, out of body to level 6 starry sky cultivators, combination to level 7 starry sky cultivators, nirvana to level 8 starry sky cultivators, and crossing tribulation to level 9 starry sky cultivators. Because his cultivation had decreased, he was now only a level 7 starry sky cultivator, which was equivalent to the combination realm of the cultivation system. Not only that, Longao found that he couldn't leave this material plane at all. If nothing unexpected happened, unless he could break through the crossing tribulation realm and reach a higher realm, he could leave this material plane. It seemed that this material plane was really not simple. If it were any other material plane, as long as he could break through to level 1 starry sky cultivators, he could leave this material plane smoothly. Where did he come to? Chapter 2784. After exchanging a few words with Qin Shuangshuang, Longao began to cultivate. Qin Shuangshuang was not surprised that Longao was a cultivator. It was just that she could not sense Longao's true cultivation level. A month passed in the blink of an eye. Longao had completely stabilized his injuries, but his cultivation level did not improve at all. He was still a so-called level 7 cultivator. He felt helpless. Brother Long, you said you want to enter the 9 Immortals Palace? Yes, I don't know if you have a way. Longao did not know what was going on with his body, but it must have something to do with him forcibly stepping into the space crack. Helpless, he could only enter the 9 Immortals Palace to see if there were any spiritual herbs that could help him. After a few days of understanding, Longao found that his imagination was too simple. In the vast starry sky. According to his guess, if nothing unexpected happened, the purple fate continent he was in should not be in the so-called vast starry sky. Whether his guess was correct was still unknown. However, Longao was very clear that his guess should be correct. In this starry sky, there was another starry sky. Although the purple fate continent he was in was also in the vast starry sky, it was also one of the many planes in the vast starry sky, but it was not the same vast starry sky as before. Others might not know, but how could he not know? When he entered the passage in the Jianling Mountain, he already knew that there was another starry sky in addition to the vast starry sky he was in. This starry sky had an army of countless unknown creatures. Once the border between the vast starry sky and the vast starry sky was destroyed, then countless unknown creatures would rush in and plunge the people into misery and suffering. Originally, he thought that there was another vast starry sky in addition to the vast starry sky he was in. However, Longao's guess was wrong. In addition to the other vast starry sky he knew, the purple fate continent he was in at this moment, which was the vast starry sky the purple fate continent was in, was another vast starry sky. Unbelievable. He had forcibly entered the space crack and actually left the vast starry sky, entering a new vast starry sky. No wonder the cultivation system was different. The cultivation system was different from the cultivation system in the vast starry sky he was in before, but they were similar. That was right. Longao could even be sure that after the 9 realms of cultivation, there must be a higher realm. However, if he wanted to leave the purple fate continent and return to the vast starry sky he was in before, he had to go to the 9 Immortals Palace. If he still had his strength, he would have no problem killing his way into the 9 Immortals Palace. But now, the situation was different. Not only was he seriously injured, but his cultivation was also reduced to a level 7 starry skies cultivation. What did this mean? What did this mean? Was there, and even if he would encounter a level 8 or even a level 9 starry sky cultivator, or even a higher's, he would not benefit from a level 7 or even a Immortals is a or a A's or a SS, he or even a of, or a. To check. Of thus to see. Become an outer. Become an ans an eyes an outer. To become an to enter it. You. Shuang, what are the conditions to become an inner disciple of the 9 Immortals Palace? Even if Longao's cultivation had been reduced to a level 7 starry skies cultivator, as long as he entered the 9 Immortals Palace, he would not only become an inner's disciple, but would also cause a stir in the 9 Immortals Palace. As long as your cultivation can break through to the foundation establishment realm, you can apply to become an inner's disciple. It turned out to be that simple. In other words, as long as one's cultivation could break through to a level 2 starry skies cultivator, they could enter the 9 Immortals Palace's inner's disciple. For Longao, it was a piece of cake. Shuang shuang, I want to refine a few pills. Where can I buy a pill furnace and the herbs I need? Hearing that Longao wanted to refine pills, Qin Shuang Shuang was stunned. She asked in disbelief, Brother Long, do you really want to refine pills? He nodded. Longao was very curious. Although his cultivation had been reduced, refining pills would not be a problem. In any case, he had to restore his cultivation to a level 9 starry skies cultivator as soon as possible, or even break through. Only then could he leave this plane. He did not want to stay in this vast starry sky. After all, there were too many things in the vast starry sky that he was reluctant to part with. He was pleasantly surprised to the extreme. Brother Long, I really didn't expect you to be an alchemist. Longao was even more surprised. In fact, Longao did not know that in the Purple Fate continent, the status of an alchemist was far above that of a cultivator. This was because the various pills refined by alchemists were a bit too heaven-defying. Not only that, alchemists and cultivators were different. If 1 in 10 people could cultivate, then 1 in 100,000 people might not be able to become an alchemist. From this, one could imagine how difficult it was to become an alchemist. Shuang shuang, how are the levels of alchemists divided? Qin Shuang Shuang was a little speechless. She couldn't figure out why Brother Long was an alchemist as well as a self-cultivator. Why didn't he know anything about self-cultivators or alchemists? However, Qin Shuang Shuang didn't ask. Alchemists are divided into 9 levels, with level 1 being the lowest and level 9 being the highest. However, according to the rumors, each level of alchemist has to have the corresponding strength as support. Otherwise, it is impossible to refine pills of a higher grade. This was just a general phenomenon, but there were also some exceptions. Longao was very clear that under normal circumstances, it was exactly as Qin Shuang Shuang said. However, he was an exception. Even if his current cultivation was only at grade 7 starry sky cultivator, he could still refine grade 9 medicinal pills. He could even refine higher grade medicinal pills, but he needed the corresponding spiritual grasses. Brother Long, what level of alchemist are you? I don't know. Qin Shuang Shuang did not think much about it because in her opinion, even if Brother Long was a level 1 alchemist, he could easily enter the 9 Immortals Palace and become an inner disciple of the 9 Immortals Palace. Brother Long, the place we are in belongs to the Phoenix Ancient City, so as long as we enter the Phoenix Ancient City, we can find the pill furnace to refine pills. As for whether we can find the spiritual grasses, that is unknown. Then let's go to the Phoenix Ancient City now. Longao, who was preparing to go to the Phoenix Ancient City, suddenly saw that Qin Shuang Shuang did not get up. He already knew that things were not as simple as he thought. P.S. The immortal world Starry Sky was conceived before the book was opened, so it cannot be changed. This is the most important transition. Without this scene, the later parts of the book cannot be unfolded. I hope everyone will be patient and read on. The immortal world Starry Sky will definitely be very exciting and will not let everyone down. Chapter 2785. Shuang Shuang, what's wrong? Qin Shuang Shuang had a helpless expression as she said, Brother Long, if you want to enter Phoenix Ancient City, you need to accept a spirit stone. Spirit stone? Longao didn't know much about spirit stones. After all, he had been cultivating ever since he woke up. Everything he knew was what he wanted to know. As for spirit stones, he had never heard Qin Shuang Shuang mention it before. Could it be that Brother Long doesn't know about spirit stones? Qin Shuang Shuang was completely shocked. As long as it was a cultivator of the Purple Fate continent, it was impossible for them not to know what spirit stones were. It could be said like this. Without spirit stones, it could be said that it was difficult to move an inch in the Purple Fate continent. She simply explained what spirit stones were. So it was like this. According to Qin Shuang Shuang, spirit stones were a type of stone that stored the spirit energy of heaven and earth. This type of spirit stone was the currency of the Purple Fate continent. No matter what one did, they needed spirit stones as the foundation. Not only that, spirit stones could be directly swallowed and absorbed the spirit energy of heaven and earth within to cultivate. The spirit energy of heaven and earth within spirit stones was much thicker than the spirit energy of heaven and earth outside. It was more suitable for cultivators to cultivate. It wasn't that Qin Shuang didn't have spirit stones, it was just that she had relatively less. Because of this, Qin Shuang couldn't bear to lose 2 spirit stones at once. The outer sect disciples of the 9 Immortal Palace didn't have the slightest advantage. They couldn't even obtain a single spirit stone from the 9 Immortal Palace. This was truly a troublesome matter. Shuang, follow me. I'll bring you into Phoenix Ancient City. Brother Long, the spirit stone's on me. For some reason, Qin Shuang suddenly changed her mind and said, Brother Long, if you really want to enter Phoenix Ancient City to take a look, I can bring you there. But if you want to buy pill furnaces and spirit herbs, I can't do that. Even the most common pill furnace and the worst spirit grass were not things that she could afford. Even if she was an inner sect disciple, or a cultivator above the foundation establishment stage, she could not casually buy things in the ancient Phoenix City. Longao didn't mind and pulled Qin Shuang out of Maple Leaf Village. Maple Leaf Village wasn't very far from Phoenix Ancient City. It would take a few hours. Phoenix Ancient City was one of the largest cities of the Purple Fate continent and belonged to the 9 Immortal Palace. Just as Qin Shuang said, if one wanted to enter Phoenix Ancient City, everyone had to pay a low-grade spirit stone. Spirit stones were further divided into low-grade spirit stones, mid-grade spirit stones, high-grade spirit stones, and top-grade spirit stones. Generally, high-grade and top-grade spirit stones were very rare. Brother Long, what are you going to do? Until now, Qin Shuang still didn't know what Brother Long wanted to do. After all, buying alchemy furnaces and spiritual herbs required a lot of spirit stones. Could it be that Big Brother Long wants to snatch it? It seemed a little unlikely that this would happen. Shuang, let's sell some things now and exchange them for spirit stones before we buy the alchemy furnace. As he spoke, Longao found a bustling street and took out various weapons from his space ring. He even took out some extremely precious spiritual herbs that he could not use. When Longao had left the Sky Martial continent and entered the vast starry sky, he had naturally snatched some spiritual grasses and powerful weapons. However, as his cultivation continued to increase, regardless of whether it was spiritual herbs or weapons, they were no longer of much use to him. Spiritual weapon, it's actually a spiritual weapon. And these spiritual grasses, Brother Long, where did you get them? As soon as she asked, Qin Shuang knew that she had misspoken. After all, there were some things that shouldn't be asked, even if they were friends. Longao just smiled and didn't take it to heart. Who allowed you to set up a stall here? Just as Longao and Qin Shuang were about to sell, 2 youths came from not far away. They were only qi refining cultivators. However, when the 2 came in front of Longao, before Longao could say anything, they continued, according to the rules of the city, you have to take out half of what you want to sell. Otherwise, you have to pay 100 low-grade spirit stones. The 2 of them stared at the spiritual qi on the ground. They didn't expect that 2 country bumpkins would have so much spiritual qi. If they could get half of what they wanted and 100 low-grade spirit stones, it would be a very good thing. Brother Long, they are the local tyrants of Phoenix Ancient City. Local tyrants? Aren't they the so-called hooligans? Qin Shuang naturally knew the 2 of them. The 2 of them were outer sect disciples of Phoenix Ancient City. Relying on their family's deterrence, the 2 of them didn't cultivate properly. Instead, they stayed in the city and became hooligans. The 2 of them had good eyesight. They knew who they should offend and who they shouldn't. Originally, the 2 of them were hesitant when Longao took out so many spiritual qi and spiritual qi. They wondered where this person came from and what his identity was. However, when they saw Qin Shuang, the 2 of them didn't have any worries. Scram. Originally, Longao was prepared to enter 9 Immortal Palace and start refining pills. He wanted to see if he could raise his strength in the shortest time possible. Although his strength had been greatly reduced, Longao was very clear that this was because his strength had been forcefully suppressed for some reason. If he could rapidly increase his strength, then as his cultivation continued to increase, the attributeless primal chaos stone tablet within his body would also be refined. Longao had an intuition that made him pleasantly surprised. According to Longao's calculations, the reason his cultivation was greatly reduced was because of the attributeless chaos stone tablet in his body. Perhaps this was a chance for him to refine the attributeless chaos stone tablet. This was what Longao had just thought of. Therefore, he also knew that refining pills wouldn't be of much use to him. The most important thing was to quickly refine the attribute-less Chaos Stone tablet. This way, not only would he be able to recover his peak strength, but he would also be able to advance to become a starry sky ruler. In the blink of an eye, everything on the ground disappeared. Without even waiting for the two of them to speak, Longao had already attacked. With a kick, the two of them were sent flying. At this moment, the two of them realized that they had kicked an iron plate this time. Of course, Qin Shuangshuang didn't know what had happened. Everything was fine. Why didn't Brother Long sell these things and even kill the two of them? She immediately said impatiently, "Brother Long, you should leave first. The 9 Immortal Palaces enforcement team will be here soon." Qin Shuangshuang of course knew how strong the sect's enforcement team was. Whether or not Brother Longao was in the right, killing people was something that was obvious. Once the enforcement team caught Longao, it was obvious what the result would be. Longao smiled and said carelessly, "Shuangshuang, I've already thought through many things, so I don't need to buy pill furnaces and spirit herbs." What did this mean? Not long after, 10 enforcement team members appeared. They were all Foundation Establishment realm. Seeing the 10 of them coming towards her, Qin Shuangshuang thought to herself that this time it was over. P.S. Last night, Little Nine already said that the immortal realm is a transition. It's also a chance for Longao to refine the Chaos Stone tablet. This isn't much and will end soon. Chapter 2786. Brother Long, let's leave this place quickly. Just as Qin Shuangshuang was about to pull Longao away, the situation suddenly changed. Qin Shuangshuang was shocked by the aura that was suddenly released from Longao's body. At this moment, Longao had already closed his eyes, not knowing what was going on. Qin Shuangshuang was completely stunned, not knowing what Longao was doing. Not long later, the 10-man enforcement team had already rushed over, and they were surrounded by people. What is this person doing? It's very likely that he has an epiphany. I've heard that powerful cultivators have a kind of opportunity. Once they have an epiphany, their realms can even jump continuously. Epiphany? As if they had already believed it, there were waves of exclamations coming from all around. The 10-man enforcement team didn't care about that. Longao and Qin Shuangshuang dared to kill people in Phoenix Ancient City. It was completely a provocation. No matter what their motive was, they had to kill them. Just as the 10 of them touched Longao, they were instantly sucked dry. That's right, the energy in their bodies was instantly sucked dry. Ah! Seeing the scene in front of them, everyone was completely shocked. They didn't know what was going on at all, but for this person to be able to suck the 10 enforcement team dry in an instant was already shocking enough. Longao's eyes were still tightly shut. As for what was going on, even Longao didn't understand. But soon, he knew what was going on. He didn't want to believe it. Could this be fate? Qin Shuangshuang, who didn't know what to do, suddenly had a change in expression. Her entire body began to tremble violently, as if she was having a seizure. Her face was filled with pain. For some reason, the elemental Chaos Stone tablet in Longao's body had already floated out. Not only that, the Chaos Stone tablet's aura directly covered the entire continent. Its speed was unimaginable. In the next second, countless experts from Shongqing Sect, 9 Immortal Palace, and Qingyun Sword Sect had all arrived. The current Phoenix Ancient City could be said to have reached its peak. Brother Jiyu, who is this person? I don't know. Seems like this person isn't from 9 Immortal Palace. In mid-air, the 3 men stood with their hands clasped behind their backs as they looked at the young man, especially the Black Stone Tablet. The three of them were the master of the three great sects, as well as the tribulation-passing experts of the Purple Fate continent. They were only one step away from reaching a higher realm. Ha ha ha, so it's a Chaos Stele. Who would have thought that a mere low-level immortal plane would have a Chaos Stele? Fuck, the primal Chaos Stone Tablet is mine. Who dares to touch it? Luo Chong, who do you think you are? Why is the primal Chaos Stone Tablet yours? If you want to obtain the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, you'll have to rely on your own abilities. What are you wasting time for? The three Master Immortals were busy trying to figure out what was going on. Suddenly, a series of maniacal laughter rang out from afar. Every single one of the auras was incomparably strong. Could it be? Before they could finish their words, the three of them, including everyone who dared to stay in the air, were all killed. They didn't even have the chance to react. Seeing the Master of the Nine Immortals Palace and the other two Master Immortals being killed, the people who had stayed to watch the show all frantically scattered in all directions. It was too terrifying. In less than 5 minutes, the entire ancient Phoenix City was filled with people. Moreover, any one of them had strength that surpassed the Tribulation Realm. The space Longao was in was called the Immortal World. It was also the so-called Immortal World Starry Sky. The Immortal World Starry Sky had countless planes. It was similar to the vast space Longao was in before, except for the cultivation system. Once you successfully passed the tribulation, you would be a loose immortal. The cultivation levels of the Immortal World Starry Sky were loose immortal, human immortal, earth immortal, sky immortal, golden immortal, great principal golden immortal, mysterious immortal, nine heaven mysterious immortal, high heaven immortal, immortal monarch, immortal king, immortal emperor, immortal emperor, immortal emperor, half-step starry sky ruler, starry sky ruler. The aura released by the primal Chaos Stone Tablet not only covered the entire Purple Fate continent, but also spread out. The Immortal World Starry Sky was also divided into low-level planes, middle-level planes, and high-level planes. The Purple Fate continent was only a low-level plane. The strongest self-cultivators were only tribulation-passing experts. Normally, even loose immortals wouldn't be willing to step into a low-level plane. But now, the situation was completely different. No one knew about the primal Chaos Stone Tablet in the vast space Longao was in, except for the peak martial artists. But for the Immortal World Starry Sky, it was a completely different concept. Anyone who entered the Immortal World Starry Sky, even the lowest level loose immortal, knew about the primal Chaos Stone Tablet and the secret realm. Because if one wanted to reach the peak, which was the Starry Sky ruler, they had to devour the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. The primal Chaos Stone Tablet's aura was very strong. Even if many people couldn't sense it, there were still some who could. 1 spread to 10, 10 spread to 100, and countless self-cultivators flocked over. Countless self-cultivators, the strongest of which were immortal emperors. As for immortal monarchs, immortal emperors, and even immortal emperors, it wasn't that they didn't care about the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, it was that they didn't know about it. It really is the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Looking at the floating primal Chaos Stone Tablet in front of Longao, everyone chose Longao and Qin Shuangshuang. This was a heaven-defying treasure. Not to mention them, even a half-step Starry Sky ruler or a Starry Sky ruler would want to get their hands on it. Seeing that the Black Stone Tablet in front of them was indeed the legendary primal Chaos Stone Tablet, some people couldn't help but rush over to the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. But no matter who it was, as soon as they touched the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, they immediately screamed and stopped abruptly, sucked dry by the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. What was going on? Clearly, they had learned from the mistakes of others, but still, some people couldn't help but rush over. If it was anything else, it wouldn't matter. But the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, because everyone knew what it meant. Once they could devour the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, they could become a Starry Sky ruler. At that time, the Immortal World Starry Sky would be unhindered. However, as more and more people were sucked dry, it finally stopped. At a glance, there were people everywhere. They were densely packed, forming a dense mass of people. What was going on just now? Everyone began to focus on Longao, because they weren't idiots. The young man's eyes were closed, and the primal chaos stone tablet was right in front of him. Could it be that the young man had already obtained the primal chaos stone tablet and was refining it now? It seemed a bit ridiculous. Even if the young man had devoured the primal chaos stone tablet, he should have done it secretly. How could he do it so openly? Moreover, according to the rumors, refining the primal chaos stone tablet wasn't something that could be done overnight. Who knew how long it would take? P.S. 10 chapters will erupt tomorrow, and a few chapters will be released tonight. Longao's strength will recover quickly. Chapter 2787. Longao didn't know anything about the situation around him. Longao seemed to have entered a situation that even he didn't know about. Qin Shuangshuang's body floated in front of the tablet and her body started to emit a weird aura. All of a sudden, Longao had already opened his eyes, but ignored everyone around him. He had already guessed that this would be the outcome. The tablet floated out and the aura that it released, if it didn't attract all the experts, then it wouldn't be a tablet. What is going on? Although he had guessed a little, Longao still hoped that his guess wasn't right. Look! A cry of surprise came from the surroundings. Immediately after, an unbelievable scene happened. Qin Shuangshuang's body was wrapped by the aura released by the tablet. In a few minutes, her body started to change. The tablet is swallowing her essence blood. Unbelievable. Not to mention others, even Longao knew what was going on. He couldn't understand why the tablet was swallowing Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood. The essence blood had to activate the tablet before it could be refined. At that moment, Longao finally understood why he had been unable to succeed in refining the attributeless primal chaos tablet. So it was because the attributeless primal chaos tablet had not been activated at all. The other tablets weren't like that. Only the tablet that he had swallowed was activated. As for why the tablet wanted to swallow Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood, Longao still didn't know. As for the people around, they didn't dare to move. Everything that had happened was still fresh in their minds. The temptation of the tablet was huge, but compared to their lives, it wasn't enough. The tablet swallowed very slowly like it was tasting something good. Qin Shuangshuang didn't look like she was in pain. Her face was calm and her body stopped shaking. What was going on? Longao was surprised that the tablet could be activated and he could refine it in the future. However, he felt guilty for swallowing Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood for no reason. There was definitely something fishy going on. Otherwise, why would the tablet want to swallow Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood for no reason? Even if the tablet swallowed the essence blood slowly, there would be a time when it was done. He devoured for several hours. It was only half opened. Longao could clearly sense that he had only opened half of the primal chaos stone tablet. If he couldn't open the other half, he wouldn't be able to refine it in the future. He sighed deeply. Towards the attributeless primal chaos stone tablets, Longao had no way of dealing with them at all. How was he supposed to open the other half of the primal chaos tablet? Longao discovered that even though the primal chaos stone tablet swallowed Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence, Qin Shuangshuang was completely fine. Before Longao and the others could react, things were not over yet. After Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence was devoured, her entire body began to transform. Gradually, Qin Shuangshuang's body fell to the ground. She was no longer breathing. Longao had no idea what was going on. Although the chaos tablet had not been fully opened, he could not care less. Brat, hand over the primal chaos tablet. As long as one wasn't an idiot, one could tell that this youth had obtained the primal chaos tablet. The attributeless primal chaos tablet had already returned to Longao's body. However, he gently hugged Qin Shuangshuang. For some reason, his heart ached. It was as though he had a blood connection with Qin Shuangshuang. Did he know Qin Shuangshuang? Definitely not. Longao was almost certain that before this, he definitely didn't recognize the Qin Shuangshuang in his arms. However, if there wasn't any connection between them, then how could the attribute-less primal chaos stone tablet that he had swallow Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence, and even open half of the attribute-less primal chaos stone tablet. It was a complete mess. Longao didn't come to a conclusion. Even though he didn't know, he wasn't sure if Qin Shuangshuang was related to him. In fact, Longao even suspected that Qin Shuangshuang was related to his past life. Reincarnation itself existed. Ignoring everyone around. The current Longao, even though he hadn't recovered to the peak of the universe immortal level, he had recovered more than half of it. As for when he would recover, it was just a matter of time. Kill. I gave you face, but you don't want it. Countless cultivators rushed forward. What a joke. Everyone knew what the primal chaos tablet meant. Such a heaven-defying treasure, no one would be willing to give it up. With a cold snort, Longao's cultivation had already recovered to the universe immortal level. According to the cultivation system, it was equivalent to the immortal emperor level. As for the peak of the universe immortal level, it was equivalent to the immortal emperor level. With such super strength, dealing with everyone was a piece of cake. Killing decisively. Longao didn't want to waste time. He was still hugging Qin Shuangshuang. However, his left hand started to draw in all directions. Using his finger as a sword, sword chi shot out rapidly. He didn't even use the primal chaos axe. F***ck. Everyone cursed in their hearts. Even if Longao had some strength, how could he fight against the countless experts around him just by using his finger as a sword? They had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. Everyone went crazy. There were even people who started killing. No matter who it was, as long as they had the primal chaos tablet, they could devour it. Such an opportunity was hard to come by. No one was willing to give it up. Speed. Strength. Just when everyone thought that they could easily destroy the young man, everything changed completely. What happened next was something that no one could have imagined. Longao used his finger as a sword and slashed out sword chi continuously. No one could fight against it. Everywhere the sword chi went, there was a bloody mist. In just a few seconds, 90% of the people around had fallen. There were corpses everywhere. What kind of strength was this? The remaining people were completely shocked. In the face of death, no one thought about taking the primal chaos tablet. They turned around and left immediately. Why didn't you run? Longao naturally wouldn't give these people any chance. His sword chi was everywhere. Anyone who tried to run was killed by the sword chi. The only one who didn't run was a burly man. Longao scanned with his consciousness and knew that this man was just a golden immortal. He was completely shocked. However, he calmed down quickly and whispered, "Sir, I have a way to wake your wife up." What way? Longao didn't care about his wife. He had a feeling that Qin Shuangshuang was related to him. Chapter 2788. Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence had been completely devoured by the Chaos Stone tablet. Longao wasn't worried about this at all. Because in a few minutes, Longao had already changed Qin Shuangshuang's blood essence. It didn't affect her at all. Only her primordial spirit. At this moment, Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit was very weak and could even be destroyed at any time. Longao could only temporarily suppress the destruction of Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit. As for saving her, it was almost impossible. How could Longao not be excited when he suddenly heard that this person had a way? He couldn't wait to ask. He was overjoyed. It seemed that he had made the right bet this time. If he were to run away like the others, he would definitely be killed by the other party. He wouldn't even have the slightest chance. No matter what, he had made the right bet. He didn't dare to hesitate at all. He immediately said, "Sir, among the many immortal emperors in the immortal world, there is an immortal emperor who has a star god artifact. As long as his primordial spirit isn't destroyed, he can recover no matter how serious his injuries are." Oh! Longao was very surprised. This star god artifact was really heaven-defying. Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit wasn't completely destroyed, only a trace was left. According to this person, he could save Qin Shuangshuang. Continue. Yes. Chen, his attitude was as respectful as it could be because he knew very well that as long as the other party wanted to, he could kill him in minutes. This immortal emperor is called the Eternal Immortal Emperor. The star god artifact in his hand is called the 9 Revolutions Life and Death Mirror. Where can I find the Eternal Immortal Emperor? Chen, he was shocked. Although Chen he knew about the Eternal Immortal Emperor and the 9 Revolutions Life and Death Mirror, it was almost impossible to find this person and ask the Eternal Immortal Emperor for help. After all, what he knew wasn't a secret at all. Everyone in the immortal world knew about it. Sir, how could Longao not know what this person was thinking? Without waiting for him to speak, Longao waved his hand and said, "Just tell me where to find the Eternal Immortal Emperor." Yes, according to the rumors, the Eternal Immortal Emperor has been staying in the Eternal Immortal Palace in the Eternal Immortal Plane. After telling Long Immortal Emperor the exact location of the plane, Chen he finally heaved a sigh of relief. Until now, Chen he didn't even know if he would be able to keep his life. After all, people who liked to kill were usually capricious. Looking at the 2 people who had already left, Chen he looked at the sword that the other party had just given him. It was clearly a celestial sword, and its grade was very high. He knew very well in his heart. It was a blessing in disguise. Now that Longao had recovered to the starry sky immortal realm, he could leave the purple fate continent as he pleased. The starry sky of the immortal realm was boundless and filled with countless planes. There were countless immortal emperors in the immortal world, but Eternal Immortal Emperor was one of the strongest. No one dared to provoke him unless they were Eternal Immortal Emperor, a half-step space ruler, or even a space ruler. Longao carried Qin Shuangshuang and rushed to the immortality plane as fast as he could. Longao didn't know how long Qin Shuangshuang could last. Once her primordial spirit completely disappeared, it would be useless even if he found the Eternal Immortal Emperor. Speed. Longao kept using time teleportation, and his speed had already reached the limit. Dizziness. Even with a clear location of the planes, Longao found that he couldn't tell north from south even after teleporting for so long. He didn't know what was going on. There was nothing he could do. Longao could only go to one of the planes to see what was going on. Golden Immortal? Longao smiled and stopped the person in front of him, asking, "Sir, may I ask how to get to the immortality plane?" The Golden Immortal was startled to find someone blocking his way, but when he saw the situation of the 2, he understood Longao's general meaning. "Forgive me for being blunt, but I can see that you want to go to the immortality plane to save Eternal Immortal Emperor and your wife." Longao nodded in agreement. "Let me give you a piece of advice, it's best to give up. It's almost impossible to ask Eternal Immortal Emperor for help." How could Longao not know what he meant? Immortal emperors were high and mighty. How could they save ordinary people? Even immortal venerables couldn't, unless it was an immortal emperor of the same level. Longao didn't think so, because his cultivation base had smoothly broken through to Starry Sky Immortal, and he himself had the strength of an immortal emperor. Longao was full of confidence. With his strength, he could almost dominate the ranks of immortal emperors. Even if he encountered immortal emperor, he could fight and even kill him. "May I know how to get to the immortality plane?" The Golden Immortal didn't say much when he saw Longao was so ignorant. He said, "The fastest way to get to the immortality plane is to keep teleporting." Teleportation array. Longao didn't expect that there would be a teleportation array in the immortal world, and it was more powerful than the one in the vast starry sky where he was. Somewhere in the plane, 2 heavenly immortals stood guard over the teleportation array, and they kept collecting the spirit stones needed to pay for the teleportation array. At any rate, the teleportation array was not something that could be used to teleport anyone. Even the shortest distance required a considerable amount of spirit stones. Not to mention, this was a large-scale teleportation array. Because of this, ordinary cultivators couldn't afford to use the teleportation array at all. Even if they could, it would only be used once or twice. At this moment, the 2 suddenly stood up and looked at the man who was not far away. They bowed respectfully and said, "Greetings, Immortal Emperor." "Immortal Emperor?" Everyone gasped when they saw the man in front of the teleportation array. After all, they knew very well what it meant to be an immortal emperor. Especially when they saw the man's face, some of them were so scared that their legs trembled and they almost knelt down. Immortal Emperor Slaughter. It's actually Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Hearing the words Immortal Emperor Slaughter, everyone retreated obediently because Immortal Emperor Slaughter was too famous in the vast starry sky. He was as famous as Immortal Emperor Eternal Life. However, he was born to like killing. He once slaughtered thousands of planes in a day. One could imagine how terrifying Immortal Emperor Slaughter was. I want to go to the immortality plane. Teleport me immediately. Immortal Emperor, you can't teleport directly to the immortality plane from here. You. Before the man could finish his words, he spat out a mist of blood and slowly fell to the ground. Until he died, he didn't know why. He didn't say anything wrong. However, many people around knew that Immortal Emperor Slaughter didn't need a reason to kill. He could kill anyone he wanted. No matter what, his strength was there. Chapter 2789. Sir Immortal Emperor, this. The remaining person was scared out of his wits. He knew the character of Immortal Emperor Slaughter all too well. Even if he were to be killed, the forces behind him would not even utter a single word. Unless one's brain was flooded with water, they would not dare to provoke Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Teleport me to the other planes first. The faster, the better. Yes. This person was scared out of his wits long ago. He immediately activated the teleportation formation as fast as he could. Because of the rumors of Immortal Emperor Slaughter and the scene that had just happened, everyone who wanted to teleport had long retreated as far as they could. It was only after Immortal Emperor Slaughter was done that they dared to continue. In other words, this time around, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was the only one who was teleported. Just the thought of it was enough to make one feel awesome. Not only was Immortal Emperor Slaughter teleported alone, he did not even have to pay any spirit stones. Forget about spirit stones, it was unknown if he could even keep his life. He was extremely satisfied. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was in an extremely good mood today. If it were any other time, he would have long gone on a killing spree. Otherwise, his name would not be Slaughter. Just as Slaughter was about to enter the teleportation formation and teleport, a figure appeared. Strictly speaking, it should be two figures that appeared in the blink of an eye. Before anyone could react, the teleportation formation had already been activated. With a flash of light, the two figures disappeared without a trace. The people who had activated the teleportation formation, including those who were watching the show from afar, were completely dumbfounded. To think that someone would dare to snatch Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation. Was he tired of living? Not to mention the others, even Immortal Emperor Slaughter was a little confused. His endless rage turned into endless killing intent that killed everyone who was watching the show. Before he left, Immortal Emperor Slaughter even killed the person who had activated the teleportation formation. No matter who you are, to dare to provoke your Immortal Emperor, I'll make sure you suffer a fate worse than death. Something as such had never happened before. Even if it were immortal emperors of the same level, or even those who were on par with him, none of them would dare to do such a thing. This was a complete slap in the face. If he did not kill this person, he would not be able to swallow this anger down. Just the face alone would be a huge humiliation. What was up with that person earlier on? That person even asked me what was the fastest way to get to the eternal life plane. How dare he snatch Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation? He's really tired of living. Until now, no one had reacted because such a thing was simply unheard of. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Could this person also be an immortal emperor? It was complete nonsense. However, stealing a teleportation formation to save a life was understandable. However, stealing Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation was too unlucky. Hopefully, this person wouldn't die too tragically. The person who had stolen Immortal Emperor Slaughter's teleportation formation was none other than Longao. He didn't know that Immortal Emperor Slaughter was still puzzled when he entered the teleportation array. Why did everyone leave instead of entering the teleportation array? In order to get to the immortality plane as quickly as possible, Longao didn't care about anything else and directly entered the teleportation array. In the next plane. As soon as Longao was teleported, he immediately found the next teleportation array and prepared to continue teleporting. According to the information he had gathered, he would need to teleport dozens of times in a row to reach the plane of immortality. Time was running out. Longao didn't know how long Qin Shuangshuang could last in Chaos Hall, but the sooner, the better. In the beginning, Longao had indeed forgotten. However, after the teleportation, Longao gradually calmed down. It wasn't a good idea to carry Qin Shuangshuang like this. If there was danger, he couldn't even take care of himself. He first put Qin Shuangshuang in Chaos Hall. No matter who it was, they could stay in Chaos Hall for 3 months. Once the time was up, they would be killed by Chaos Hall. This was the real reason why Longao didn't put his family in Chaos Hall. 30,000 spirit stones. Hearing the location of the plane that Longao reported, the legendary personnel sneered in his heart. One look and he knew that the other party was a country bumpkin. There weren't many opportunities to rip him off. He had to rip him off ruthlessly. Longao didn't have the so-called spirit stones on him. If it was any other time, he might think of ways to get some spirit stones. However, he definitely couldn't do that now. He was racing against time. With a cold snort, Longao directly grabbed the other party's neck and said coldly, "I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Open the plane immediately. Otherwise," although Longao didn't finish his words, the meaning of his words was very clear. Everyone around was scared silly by the young man who had just appeared. Doing so was nothing more than courting death. After all, the teleportation array of every plane was controlled by the super forces. This was also why very few people dared to touch the teleportation array. However, this person actually dared to not pay the spirit stones. Did he think that he was an immortal emperor? He was really reckless. The teleportation personnel was also a little dumbfounded. Ever since he was assigned here, such a thing had never happened. He was a little at a loss. However, looking at the cold eyes of the young man in front of him, he couldn't help but shiver. It was too terrifying. "Yes, sir. I will open the teleportation array immediately." As soon as the teleportation array was opened, Longao had already entered the teleportation array and left quickly. Stop. The moment Longao disappeared, Immortal Emperor Slaughter had already rushed over. In his opinion, the other party must be afraid of him. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. This person was too arrogant. Immortal Emperor Slaughter, let's retreat quickly. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was like a plague. Wherever he went, everyone would retreat. After all, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was too famous, especially for his slaughter. No matter what the reason was, as long as he didn't like you, he would start a massacre. Who knew when Immortal Emperor Slaughter would find you an eyesore? Therefore, the best way was to hide as far away as possible from the place where Immortal Emperor Slaughter appeared. Seeing Immortal Emperor Slaughter, the teleportation personnel who just sent Longao away became nervous again. However, he wasn't afraid. Even though Immortal Emperor Slaughter was infamous, the power behind him wasn't weak either. Even Immortal Emperor Slaughter wouldn't dare to casually provoke the power behind him. Just like what this person thought, ordinary Immortal Emperors, even Immortal Emperor Slaughter, absolutely wouldn't dare to casually provoke a major power. Before this, he only chose to kill them. The major power behind this plane was absolutely not something he could provoke. "Sir Immortal Emperor, may I ask where you are going?" "Screw you, who told you to open the teleportation array for him? You're courting death." Immortal Emperor Slaughter wouldn't have provoked this person under normal circumstances. However, the situation was different now. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was already extremely angry. Now, someone actually dared to provoke him. Not only that, the personnel even opened the teleportation array for the other party. Chapter 2790. The teleportation personnel were a little confused. What did he do wrong? That person almost killed him, and now there was an even more ruthless immortal Emperor Slaughter. Thinking that the person in front of him was immortal Emperor Slaughter, he wanted to die. When he was unlucky, he couldn't even drink cold water. Lord Immortal Emperor, just now. Die. Immortal Emperor Slaughter directly killed him, and the other teleportation personnel immediately activated the teleportation array to send this killing god away. After Immortal Emperor Slaughter left, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. The current Immortal Emperor Slaughter was furious beyond words. The other party was obviously going to the eternal life plane. No matter who you are, I will tear you into pieces. Thinking of this, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was not in a hurry. Anyway, the other party was going to the same destination as him. When the time came, wouldn't it be better to cheat in the eternal life plane? From the beginning to the end, Longao did not know that Immortal Emperor Slaughter was chasing after him. He just wanted to get to the eternal life plane in the shortest time possible. Time was tight. Longao's speed soared to the limit. Even so, after a few hours, Longao finally arrived in front of the eternal life plane. As expected. Releasing his primordial spirit, Longao clearly sensed that there was an immortal emperor-level figure in the eternal life plane. If there was no accident, it must be the so-called eternal life immortal emperor. On the other side, the news of the primal chaos stone tablet in the purple fate continent had spread throughout the entire immortal world. Everyone knew what the primal chaos stone tablet meant. Such a temptation was absolutely irresistible. The entire immortal world was in an uproar. Everyone was looking for Longao's traces. Even the immortal emperor, and half-step starry sky ruler were all on the move. For a primal chaos stone tablet, any price would be paid. Looking at the eternal life plane in front of him, Longao did not hesitate. Whether the eternal life immortal emperor was willing to help or not, he had to try. He took a step forward. Longao's figure had already entered the eternal life plane. What a dense heaven and earth spirit energy. Longao sighed in his heart. The heaven and earth spirit energy of the immortal world was far above the vast space he was in. No wonder the people here were generally stronger. Starry sky, starry sky, starry sky. After going through the Genling Mountains passageway and what happened in the immortal realm's starry sky, Longao was almost certain that there were more than 3 vast starry skies. There must be other vast starry skies. Could it be that the vast starry sky was like a plane, with countless vast starry skies? Longao knew that if nothing unexpected happened, his guess should be correct. It was very shocking. If this matter were to spread, no one would believe it, whether it was in the vast starry sky or the current starry sky of the immortal world. He did not continue to dwell on the matter of the vast starry sky because now was not the time. "Mph, I don't believe that I can't catch up to you." Longao had just stepped into the eternal life plane, and before he could even find the eternal life immortal emperor, a man quickly came in from outside. It was none other than Immortal Emperor Slaughter who was chasing after them. "Who are you?" It would have been better if Longao didn't ask. In the eyes of Immortal Emperor Slaughter, Longao was deliberately provoking him. After so many years, no one had dared to provoke him like this. Good, very good, very good. Looking at the angry man, Longao was completely confused. He didn't know what the other party meant, but the other party was Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Longao had to be careful. Although his cultivation had successfully recovered to the starry sky immortal realm, which was equivalent to the immortal emperor realm, the strength of the person in front of him was obviously very strong, especially when he didn't know the strength of the cultivators in this vast starry sky. Be careful in everything. Caution is the parent of safety. Who are you? You don't even know who I am, and you dare to provoke me. You're really arrogant. Get lost. Longao didn't want to talk nonsense with the person in front of him. Even if the strength of the man in front of him was good, he didn't have time. After all, Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit was getting weaker and weaker. Who knew when it would disappear completely? He had to find the eternal life immortal emperor in the shortest time possible. Longao felt more and more that this Qin Shuangshuang had a great relationship with him, but he didn't know it now. Brother Tan, this is the eternal life plane. Why don't you give me some face? Just when Immortal Emperor Slaughter was about to attack, an old man suddenly appeared. Longao didn't need to guess who this old man was. He must be the target he was looking for this time, the eternal life Immortal Emperor. Mph, this person provoked me again and again. If I don't kill him today, I'm not the Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Immortal Emperor Slaughter? Who the hell is this Immortal Emperor Slaughter? Longao deliberately said this. Until now, he didn't know how he provoked this Immortal Emperor Slaughter. However, Longao felt that he couldn't see through Eternal Life Immortal Emperor. Could it be that Eternal Life Immortal Emperor already? Eternal Life Immortal Emperor always had a smile on his face. He said with a smile, Brother Tan, are you not willing to give me some face? Nangong Yin, we've been friends for many years yet you're opposing me here. What are you trying to do? Immortal Emperor Slaughter was furious after seeing Eternal Life Immortal Emperor speaking up for eternal life. He had good friends and Eternal Life Immortal Emperor was one of them. This time, he purposely came here to chat with this good friend. He didn't expect Eternal Life Immortal Emperor to act like this. Before Eternal Life Immortal Emperor could speak, Longao said impatiently, I don't care what kind of bird you are. You better shut up now. Otherwise, I don't mind killing you. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was an extremely smart person to be able to become an Immortal Emperor. Even though he couldn't see through Eternal Life Immortal Emperor's strength and thought that Eternal Life Immortal Emperor had cultivated a powerful secret technique, the fact that Eternal Life Immortal Emperor still dared to provoke him meant that Eternal Life Immortal Emperor was much stronger than him. Eternal Life wasn't surprised at all. He nodded and said, breaking through to the Immortal Emperor realm at such a young age, you'll definitely become an Eternal Immortal Emperor in the future. Immortal Emperor? Only an Immortal Emperor? Of course, Immortal Emperor Slaughter didn't doubt Eternal Life's words because he knew Eternal Life's abilities. If Eternal Life said that Eternal Life was an Immortal Emperor, then Eternal Life must be an Immortal Emperor. If the other party was the so-called Immortal Emperor, he might have chosen to leave. However, the other party was only an Immortal Emperor. Only a few people in the same realm could make him feel fear. Therefore, this young man in front of him was definitely not his match even if he had already become an Immortal Emperor. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was very confident about this. Chapter 2791. You're courting death. Longao didn't want to continue talking nonsense. He didn't wait for Immortal Emperor Slaughter to react. He took a step forward and punched out. Longao wasn't afraid of anyone at the same level as him. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was completely stunned. He didn't expect that Lin Fan would take the initiative to attack him. He had to kill Lin Fan for this provocation. This time, even Immortal Emperor Eternal Life didn't continue to persuade him. He admired Longao, but he found out that Longao was so arrogant that Immortal Emperor Slaughter started to waver, but he took the initiative to attack. Both Immortal Emperor Eternal Life and Immortal Emperor Slaughter didn't think that Longao was that strong. In the end, it was because Longao was too young. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was furious. He wanted to kill Lin Fan. In the blink of an eye, Immortal Emperor Slaughter and Longao had met force with force. Both of their fists fiercely collided in the blink of an eye. There was a loud boom. Immortal Emperor Slaughter was sent flying by Longao's punch. He was shocked. Eternal Immortal Emperor never thought that Longao's strength would be so strong. Just a casual punch could send Immortal Emperor Slaughter flying. He knew very well how strong Immortal Emperor Slaughter was. Longao didn't show any mercy. He always had to be ruthless to his enemies. Why do you have to do this? Immortal Emperor Eternal Life finally attacked. However, Longao didn't show any mercy because he needed Immortal Emperor Eternal Life's help. Using his finger as a sword, Longao attacked Immortal Emperor Slaughter. Even though he knew that Immortal Emperor Eternal Life was in front of him, Longao still attacked. Space crack. Whether it was Immortal Emperor Slaughter or Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, both of them were completely shocked when they saw the spatial rifts around them. However, Immortal Emperor eternal life strength was far beyond that of an immortal emperor. As expected. Longao wasn't surprised at all because he had guessed that Immortal Emperor Eternal Life had successfully broken through to become the so-called Immortal Emperor. Sir, please stop. Longao was not afraid of Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, even if Immortal Emperor Yongsheng had successfully broken through to Immortal Emperor Yongsheng. You can actually shatter the starry sky? Immortal Emperor Slaughter was scared out of his wits. If it wasn't for Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, he would have been devoured by the spatial crack. Unbelievable. Until now, the two immortal emperors still couldn't figure out how Longao did it. Whether it was the vast space where Longao once resided or the current immortal world, no one could shatter space. Not even the ruler of space could do so. Longao was the only one who could shatter the starry sky. Who exactly are you? Immortal Emperor Slaughter wasn't angry at all. If it was in the past, he would have attacked long ago. Longao, are you the eternal immortal emperor? Brother Long, if you don't mind, you can call me by my name, Nangong Yin. Longao smiled and said, Brother Nangong, I have a friend who is gravely injured. Her soul can disappear at any moment, so I hope you can save her. He wasn't surprised at all. Immortal Emperor Yongsheng naturally knew how heaven-defying his divine tool was. As long as the soul wasn't destroyed, it could be healed. Immortal Emperor Yongsheng wouldn't save an ordinary person. After all, if everyone in the vast starry sky begged him and he had to save them, he would be exhausted to death. Let me take a look first. Longao gently carried Qin Shuangshuang out of the primal chaos palace. For some reason, Longao had an indescribable feeling when he saw Qin Shuangshuang. It was as if they had known each other for countless years. Nangong Yin's expression instantly turned ugly after seeing the injuries of the girl in Longao's arms. He arrived in front of Longao and grabbed Qin Shuangshuang's pulse. His expression became more and more serious. The essence blood has been completely devoured. It has just been reborn, and 99% of her soul has disappeared. Nangong Yin didn't finish speaking. Qin Shuangshuang was in a dire situation. Her soul could be destroyed at any moment. At that time, she wouldn't even have the chance to enter reincarnation. How is it? Could it be that even Nangong Yin couldn't do anything? Longao's heart thumped when he saw Immortal Emperor Yongsheng's solemn expression. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to save Qin Shuangshuang. Brother Long, although my 99 Revolutions life and death mirror can heal all injuries, even if only a strand of soul is left, forgive me for being blunt. Is this young lady a reincarnated body? Reincarnated? I don't know. How can you be sure? Brother Nangong is very capable. If he says this girl is reincarnated, then she must be. There is no doubt about it. Ignoring Immortal Emperor Slaughter, Longao didn't have much doubt. After all, there was no need for Nangong Yin to lie to him. If Qin Shuangshuang was really reincarnated, then he felt as if he had known Qin Shuangshuang for countless years. Was he also reincarnated? Reincarnated? Longao didn't believe it. He still needed to study this matter. However, the most important thing now was to think of a way to save Qin Shuangshuang. No matter what price he had to pay, it was worth it. Brother Nangong, do you have a way? Yes, but it's almost impossible. Even your 9 Revolutions life and death mirror can't do it. Longao was completely worried. If this was the case, then this matter would be very troublesome. As I said earlier, although my 9 Revolutions life and death mirror is powerful, it's not omnipotent. I don't know why, but this girl's situation is too special. I'm almost certain that even my 9 Revolutions life and death mirror can't save her. Longao's heart sank. He knew that Nangong Yin wouldn't purposely not save Qin Shuangshuang. He helplessly said, just tell me if you have a way. Nangong Yin glanced at Immortal Emperor Slaughter next to him and said, you've finished listening to today's matter. Before Nangong Yin could finish, Immortal Emperor Slaughter interrupted, you should know what kind of person I am, I won't tell anyone. Longao was very curious. What was so secretive about this matter? Brother Long, have you heard of the primal chaos tablets? I've heard of them. Not only did he hear that there was a primal chaos tablet in his body, but many people in the soaring dragon empire had already devoured them. However, Longao didn't say it out loud. I've thought of many methods, but after thinking for a long time, I could only think of one method, which is to devour the primal chaos tablet and refine it. This way, due to the suppression of the primal chaos tablet, this girl's soul can be preserved. Chapter 2792. Apart from devouring primal chaos tablets, is there no other way? Longao knew that things were going to get troublesome. If it was before, Longao wouldn't have any problems. He had so many primal chaos tablets, giving Qin Shuangshuang one wouldn't be a problem at all. But now, the situation was different. He had already given away all the primal chaos tablets he had. As for the non-attributed primal chaos tablets, even if he was willing, Qin Shuangshuang wouldn't be able to devour them. I can use the 9 Revolution Life-Death Mirror to protect this lady's primal spirit from being destroyed. But to recover, she still needs to devour primal chaos tablets. This was the first time he encountered such a situation. Longao had seen countless heavily injured people, but he had never seen such a situation. She actually used primal chaos tablets to recover. If every heavily injured person had to do this, then things would be really troublesome. Just think. In the entire vast universe, how many people could obtain primal chaos tablets? Brother Nangong, I want to ask, how many rulers are there in the immortal universe? Nangong Yin had already taken out the 9 Revolution Life-Death Mirror and placed a seal on Qin Shuangshuang's primal spirit. This way, as long as she didn't continue to be heavily injured, her primal spirit shouldn't disappear in a short period of time. Wiping the sweat off his forehead, Nangong Yin replied, I don't know. Don't know. Longao was a bit dumbfounded. Nangong Yin was an immortal emperor, his strength stood at the peak of the vast universe. How could he not know how many rulers were there in the immortal universe? He was very curious. Could it be that Nangong Yin had some hidden troubles? Nangong Yin didn't speak, but Immortal Emperor Slaughter said, Longao, Brother Nangong really doesn't know. Not to mention us, even half-step rulers don't know. As for whether the rulers know, it's still unknown. So Nangong Yin really didn't know. What was going on? Longao didn't continue hating Immortal Emperor Slaughter. He believed that with the previous incident, even if Immortal Emperor Slaughter had 10,000 guts, Immortal Emperor Slaughter wouldn't dare to continue attacking him. Brother Long, we're not being perfunctory. There should be no less than a few hundred rulers in the immortal universe. As for how many there are, no one knows. Complete shock. Even if Longao was beaten to death, he would never have imagined that there would be no less than a few hundred rulers of the starry skies in the immortal world. What kind of concept was that? Longao knew very well what it meant to have hundreds of astral rulers, or even more. But after thinking about it, he felt relieved. Back then, there were thousands of universe dominators in the vast universe, but for some reason, all of them had disappeared. Perhaps only Cloud Emperor and a few others were left. How many ruler of stars have mastered the power of primal chaos? No. Nangong Yin's words were very certain. Longao didn't have the slightest doubt. No matter what was said, grasping primal chaos force and not grasping primal chaos force were two different concepts. Based on his current strength and situation, it was obviously unrealistic for him to return to the vast starry sky from before. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. If he wanted to obtain a Primal Chaos Tablet to save Qin Shuangshuang, he would have to obtain the materials on the spot. However, obtaining a Primal Chaos Tablet was not an easy task. However, Longao was well aware that the situation in the cosmos of the world of immortals was similar to the one he was in. As long as he was lucky, he would definitely be able to find a Primal Chaos Tablet. He seemed to be able to guess Longao's thoughts. Nangong Yin wanted to speak, but stopped. Brother Nangong, if you have something to say, why don't you speak frankly? Brother Long, I received news about a Primal Chaos Tablet a few days ago. If you hadn't come today, I'm afraid you wouldn't have been able to see me tomorrow. A Primal Chaos Tablet has appeared in the cosmos of the world of immortals. He was overjoyed. Longao was currently fretting over what to do to obtain a primal chaos tablet in the shortest time possible. Although Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit could be temporarily preserved thanks to the 9 Revolutions life-death mirror, this wasn't the way to go. A few days ago, I secretly received news that a primal chaos tablet's presence had appeared in the Grand Orient Mountain. However, many astral rulers, half-step astral rulers, immortal emperors, and immortal emperors have all rushed there. At this point, Nangong Yin didn't continue speaking. However, both Longao and Immortal Emperor Slaughter were very clear about the dangers involved. Let's head to the Grand Orient Mountain immediately. Without even thinking, Longao had already decided to head to the Grand Orient Mountain. This was an opportunity for him. Immortal Emperor Slaughter nodded without hesitation, indicating his agreement to head to the Grand Orient Mountain. In fact, both of them were well aware of the significance of a primal chaos tablet's presence in the Grand Orient Mountain. Countless experts were rushing there, and if they were unlucky, not only would they not obtain a primal chaos tablet, they might even lose their lives. The reason Longao was heading to the Grand Orient Mountain was to save Qin Shuangshuang. After all, Nangong Yin had already said that Qin Shuangshuang had no other choice but to devour a primal chaos tablet and rely on it to recover. As for Immortal Emperor Slaughter, he hoped to devour a primal chaos tablet and become an astral ruler. The two of you, why don't the 3 of us head to the Grand Orient Mountain together? Why don't we form an alliance? After we enter the Grand Orient Mountain, if we can successfully obtain a primal chaos tablet, we'll give it to the fated one. What do you think? If it was any other time, Longao would definitely agree, but now, Brother Nangong, I'm planning to head to the Grand Orient Mountain alone. No matter if it was Immortal Emperor Slaughter or Immortal Emperor Yongsheng, how could they not know what Longao meant? Tan Zhong was very unhappy in his heart, but because of Longao's terrifying strength, he dared not speak out. As for Nangong Yin, he didn't care at all. He smiled and said, "If that's the case, I won't force you." He left as soon as he said so. Looking at Longao's figure disappearing quickly, Tan Zhong said angrily, "Brother Nangong, other than being able to shatter the starry sky, what else can this person do? He actually didn't come with us. I want to see if he can leave the Eastern Imperial Mountain alive." Nangong Yin said, "Longao isn't simple. Shattering the starry sky is something even an astral ruler can't do. If we can obtain this ability, we'll be invincible even in the same realm. We'll snatch it. Don't act rashly. I just said that Longao isn't simple. Let's head to the Grand Orient Mountain first. This time, I must succeed. It seems like fate is treating me well." Nangong Yin smiled, but Tan Zhong was very curious. He didn't know what Nangong Yin wanted to do. Chapter 2793. Donghuang Mountain. Donghuang Mountain was located in the Donghuang Plain. There was no one in the entire plain, and it was one of the absolute forbidden lands in the immortal world. No matter who stepped into the Donghuang Mountain, there was no return. Even half-step starry sky rulers didn't dare to step into the Donghuang Plain. As for what was in the Donghuang Plain, no one knew. Normally, there wouldn't be anyone around the Donghuang Plain. But now, except for the starry sky rulers, no one dared to step into the Donghuang Plain, including half-step starry sky rulers. The primal chaos stone tablet was very tempting, but they couldn't lose their lives for it. Longao had also arrived at the Donghuang Plain. Looking at the densely packed crowd, he felt helpless. It seemed like the primal chaos stone tablet was very tempting. The weakest people here were immortal emperors. There were a lot of immortal emperors and hundreds of half-step starry sky rulers. Immortal world starry sky. Whether it was half-step starry sky rulers or starry sky rulers, there were hundreds of them. If it was in the vast starry sky, it would be unimaginable. Longao didn't care about the dangers of the Donghuang Mountain. As long as he could get the primal chaos stone tablet and save Qin Shuangshuang, it would be enough. Without even thinking, he took a step forward and rushed towards the Donghuang Plain. That person is only an immortal emperor. How dare he step into the Donghuang Plain? He doesn't know the difference between life and death. Seeing a figure enter the Donghuang Plain, There were exclamations. After all, the Donghuang Plain was a forbidden land in the immortal world Starry Sky. It was an absolute forbidden land. Except for the Starry Sky rulers, no one dared to step into it. A puny immortal emperor and a half-step Starry Sky ruler didn't even make a move. With regards to Longao risking his life to step into the East Emperor Plain, everyone knew clearly in their hearts. As Longao entered, people started to follow him into the Donghuang Plain. Although they didn't want to face death, the temptation of the primal chaos stone tablet was absolute. It was incomparable. Otherwise, these people wouldn't have come here. With the first, there would be a second and a third. In just a few minutes, half of the people were already pouring into the East Emperor realm. How could the remaining people continue to sit around and wait for death? If they didn't enter now and waited for others to obtain the primal chaos tablet, then even if they could enter, it would be too late. Thinking of this, the remaining people did not hesitate and immediately got up to enter the East Emperor realm. The East Emperor realm was boundless. No matter who it was, even if it was Longao, they couldn't use their primordial spirit to cover the entire dimension. From this, it could be seen how strange the East Emperor dimension was. Under normal circumstances, in a plane, even if it was a high-level plane, an immortal emperor could use his primordial spirit to cover the entire plane. But now, it was strange. This phenomenon was not only noticed by Longao, but also by others. Brother Nangong, look, Longao is over there. Nangong Yin and Tan Zhong arrived together. As soon as they entered the East Imperial Plain, they noticed Longao in the distance. Now that Nangong Yin had successfully broken through to the immortal emperor realm, unless it was a half-step Starry Sky ruler, no one could defeat them. Let's not alert him first. I have a feeling that as long as we follow Longao, we will be able to find the primal chaos tablet. Hearing Nangong Yin's words, Immortal Emperor Slaughter was very surprised. Although Longao was strong, the primal chaos tablet was an ethereal thing. However, Immortal Emperor Slaughter believed in Nangong Yin's words and did not say anything. The two followed Longao from afar and kept arguing until they reached the East Emperor Mountain. The East Emperor Mountain was located on the east side of the East Emperor realm. The entire mountain peak pierced the 9 heavens. Longao had just arrived at the Eastern Imperial Mountain, and was about to enter the Eastern Imperial Mountain to check his luck. At this moment, miserable cries continuously sounded out from the Eastern Imperial Mountain in front of him, spreading throughout the entire world. It was especially ear-piercing. Hearing the screams, everyone who was about to enter the East Emperor Mountain stopped. The primal chaos tablet was important, but compared to their lives, it was not enough. There was a lot of discussion in the surroundings. No one knew what was going on at the East Emperor Mountain. However, someone soon discovered that there were countless figures coming out of the East Emperor Mountain. At a glance, there were at least a few hundred people. Among the several hundred people, each of them released a powerful aura. At a glance, even Longao was a little shocked because he could clearly sense that almost all of the people coming out of the East Emperor Mountain were Starry Sky rulers. What kind of concept was this? At first, Longao did not believe it. After all, several hundred Starry Sky rulers were not a joke. However, now that he saw it with his own eyes, Longao finally understood what it was like to have several hundred Starry Sky rulers appear at the same time. If the immortal world Starry Sky was connected to the vast Starry Sky where he was before, there was no doubt that the immortal world Starry Sky could rule over his vast Starry Sky. After all, the two Starry Skies were not on the same level. What was going on at the East Emperor Mountain? Why did several hundred Starry Sky rulers come out at the same time? It seemed that the East Emperor Mountain was not simple. However, Longao was not surprised at all. Since the primal chaos tablet appeared at the East Emperor Mountain, it was clear that the East Emperor Mountain was not simple. What is that person doing? The moment the several hundred Starry Sky rulers came out, a figure rushed into the East Emperor Mountain at the fastest speed. He did not care about the danger. Not to mention the others, even the several hundred Starry Sky rulers were shocked. They did not know if this person's brain had been damaged. The The person who rushed in was none other than Longao. If it was any other time, Longao might be a little afraid. After all, even the starry sky rulers had to leave the East Emperor Mountain. It was almost certain that the East Emperor Mountain was not simple. However, the situation was different now. Longao was very clear about Qin Shuangshuang's situation. Even with the 9 revolution life and death mirror sealing her primordial spirit, Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit would not disappear for the time being. However, this was not the way to go. He had to get the primal chaos tablet. It was almost impossible to kill a starry sky ruler and take the primal chaos tablet by force. The only way was to enter the East Emperor Mountain. If he missed this opportunity, who knew how long it would take for the next one? Thinking of this, Longao did not hesitate to enter the East Emperor Mountain. He did not care if there was a mountain of knives or a sea of fire in front of him. P.S. The 7th chapter has been delivered. I stayed up late last night and woke up late in the morning. The remaining 3 chapters will be delivered in the afternoon and evening. Chapter 2794. As soon as he stepped into the Donghuang Mountain, Longao had a bad feeling. He was surrounded by a white fog. Even with his strength, he couldn't see more than a few thousand meters away. What did that mean? The Donghuang Mountain was too strange, but in order to save Qin Shuangshuang, Longao didn't care. He continued to move forward step by step. He had to get the Chaos Tablet. Longao didn't dare to be careless. He moved forward carefully. With the Chaos Axe in hand, the Donghuang Mountain could force hundreds of astral dominators out. Black fog erosion. Longao finally understood why the astral dominators were forced out of the Donghuang Mountain. It turned out that the black fog was the main culprit. At first, nothing happened. But as he went deeper and deeper into the mountain, the black fog began to devour his flesh and soul. It was very fast. Not only that, Longao found that the black fog was very strong. Even the astral dominators couldn't resist it, let alone ordinary people. That was why the astral dominators all left the Donghuang Mountain. According to Longao's guess, only an astral dominator who had mastered the power of chaos could resist the black fog. Retreat. Longao didn't want to make unnecessary sacrifices. He immediately turned and retreated. No matter what, he had to leave the Donghuang Mountain first. But the result? Before Longao could retreat, the surrounding black fog had already begun to crazily wrap around him. In just a few seconds, Longao's figure could no longer be seen. At this moment, the black fog around Longao was like a giant cocoon. Only the black fog could be seen. Longao could no longer be seen. Outside the Donghuang Mountain, hundreds of astral dominators had witnessed the horror of the black fog's erosion. If they were forcefully eroded by the black fog and didn't retreat early, the consequences would be unimaginable. With the lesson learned, no astral dominator dared to casually step into the Donghuang Mountain. They were very anxious. They knew there were astral dominators in the Donghuang Mountain, but they didn't dare to step in. The astral ruler didn't dare to enter the Grand Orient Mountain, but that didn't mean that others wouldn't. The temptation of the Chaos Stone Tablet was absolutely irresistible. Even though they knew that the Donghuang Mountain was dangerous, many of the space rulers would not have come out. Even so, there were still people who did not fear death and directly stepped into the Donghuang Mountain. Very soon, screams could be heard from the Donghuang Mountain. In less than a few minutes, the people who had entered had already stopped screaming. What did this mean? Everyone knew that everyone who had entered the Donghuang Mountain was dead. It seemed that the Starry Sky Ruler was strong enough to leave the Donghuang Mountain. The Donghuang Mountain intimidated everyone. Among the crowd, "Brother Nangong, what should we do now?" Immortal Emperor Slaughter also wanted to enter the Eastern Royal Mountain. After all, the primal Chaos Stone Tablet that he dreamed of obtaining was there. However, the screams from before still echoed in his ears. He wanted to, but he didn't have the courage. How could Nangong Yin not understand Immortal Emperor Slaughter's intentions? He stared at the Eastern Royal Mountain with a solemn expression and didn't answer Immortal Emperor Slaughter's question. He was very curious. For some reason, Immortal Emperor Slaughter felt that something was wrong with Nangong Yin. Ever since Longao stepped into the immortal plane, he had been like this. Especially after coming to the Donghuang Mountain, he had become even stranger. What was going on? No matter how much he thought about it, he could not figure it out. However, Immortal Emperor Slaughter had a bad premonition. In the end, he forcibly suppressed it. He and Nangong Yin had been friends for many years. How could Nangong Yin harm him? It seemed that he was overthinking. Nangong Yin's expression became more and more solemn. In the next second, when no one dared to move, Nangong Yin's body suddenly flew towards the Donghuang Mountain and disappeared without a trace. Ah! Not to mention the others, just Immortal Emperor Slaughter was completely stunned. He had felt that something was wrong with Nangong Yin. It turned out that he wanted to enter the Donghuang Mountain. However, the situation of the Donghuang Mountain was very obvious. Anyone who entered would die, except for the Starry Sky Ruler. As for whether half-step Starry Sky Rulers could survive, it was still unknown because no half-step Starry Sky Ruler had ever entered the Donghuang Mountain. What was going on with Nangong Yin? As a friend, Tan Zhong was very worried about Nangong Yin's safety. However, in the end, he endured it. He was very clear about his own strength. Even Immortal Emperor had died in the Donghuang Mountain, let alone him. If he forced his way into the Donghuang Mountain, only death would await him. In the face of life and death, even Immortal Emperor Slaughter was afraid. Nangong Yin's speed was very fast. It seemed that he knew the situation of the Donghuang Mountain. A mirror appeared in his hand. It was the legendary 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror. Nangong Yin looked at the surrounding black fog and said to himself, after waiting for so many years, I finally got it. This time, I must succeed. The surrounding black fog did not show any mercy and immediately began to corrode Nangong Yin. Under normal circumstances, even if Nangong Yin's cultivation had smoothly broken through to Immortal Emperor, he would still not be able to resist the corrosion of the black fog. After all, dozens of Immortal Emperors had just died here. However, Nangong Yin was not worried at all. Instead, he held the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in his hand with a face full of expectation. The 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror released 2 kinds of black and white light, which directly formed a black and white forbidden area around Nangong Yin's body. The surrounding black fog could not approach at all. Nangong Yin was overjoyed. Before entering, even Nangong Yin did not have full confidence that he could resist the corrosion of the black fog with the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in his hand. However, his guess was right. Looking at the surrounding black fog being blocked by the black and white light, Nangong Yin became extremely excited. Without the slightest hesitation, Nangong Yin took advantage of this opportunity and immediately quickened his pace. However, before he could take more than a few steps, he stopped and stared at the black fog cocoon in front of him, not knowing what it was. He was very curious. Nangong Yin did not know what the black fog cocoon in front of him was. Although he had the 9 Revolution Life and Death Mirror in his hand, he still did not dare to touch the black fog cocoon. Who knew what it was? Nangong Yin did not slow down and directly went around the black fog cocoon. Just as Nangong Yin took a few steps away, the black fog cocoon began to crazily absorb the surrounding black fog. The absorption speed was very terrifying. Nangong Yin suddenly turned around and looked at the black fog cocoon in front of him in shock. What was going on? Why would the black fog cocoon suddenly absorb the surrounding black fog? Nangong Yin continuously retreated. However, he discovered that the black fog cocoon did not continue to corrode the surrounding black fog. Chapter 2795. Donghuang Mountain. The black fog around the entire Donghuang Mountain was being devoured by the black fog cocoon at a faster and faster speed. Everyone had already sensed it, but no one dared to casually step into the Donghuang Mountain. This was because no one knew what was going on inside the mountain. Inside the black fog cocoon, Longao also didn't know what had happened. He didn't know why he was wrapped up in the black fog. He couldn't even move an inch. He was very worried. But things had already come to this point and he couldn't do anything about it. What's going on? Longao found that he was trapped in the black fog cocoon and was constantly devouring the black fog outside. The black fog was all pouring into his body. One should know. When he was outside, Longao personally experienced the horror of the black fog. Even he was eroded by the black fog. Even the starry sky dominator couldn't resist the black fog's erosion. Such a terrifying black fog was pouring into his body. He didn't know what would happen. He couldn't move an inch. Even if he wanted to get rid of the black fog in his body, he couldn't. What should he do? At this moment, Longao was completely helpless. He didn't know what to do at all. But gradually, he found that things weren't that bad. If the black fog eroded his body, it would only take a few minutes. But the result? Countless black fog poured into Longao's body and began to flow all over his body. But the black fog didn't linger and began to pour into his dantian. His cultivation base improved again, from Starry Sky Immortal Realm to Peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm. In other words, Longao had successfully recovered his peak strength. And it was all thanks to the black fog. If it wasn't for the black fog, who knew how long it would take to recover to Peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm? What was the black fog doing? Longao was very surprised because the black fog that poured into his body all entered his dantian and began to rotate. He didn't know what it was doing. The black fog didn't stay in his dantian for long. It began to leave his dantian and poured into the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. Completely shocked. But Longao wasn't too worried. Longao was very confident in his 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. The immortal primordial spirit wasn't just for show. Even if the black fog wanted to erode the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit, it was impossible. But the next scene completely shocked Longao. Because the black fog began to merge with the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. Even if he wanted to stop it, it was impossible. He could only watch the two merge. Whether it was good or bad, he still didn't know. Time passed quickly. 10 days passed in the blink of an eye. In a short span of 10 days, all of the black mist in the entire eastern Imperial Mountain had disappeared, all of it had been sucked into the black mist cocoon. Strictly speaking, it had been sucked into Longao's body and fused with the 9-colored lotus primordial spirit. If others knew, what would others think if they knew it? From the beginning to the end. Nangong Yin didn't even take half a step away. He firmly stared at the black fog cocoon as if he had already guessed something. He coldly muttered to himself, I didn't expect you to be one step faster than me. However, the final victor will still be me. Crack, crack, crack. Just then, the black fog cocoon began to crack. Soon, the entire black fog cocoon fell to the ground and disappeared without a trace. Stretching his back, Longao couldn't help but feel elated. He hadn't expected that after his 9-colored lotus primordial spirit fused with the black fog, not only would it not be affected, it would even grow stronger. Primordial spirit attacks. Let alone martial artists of the same level, even a half-step Starry Sky ruler would have their primordial spirits destroyed easily. Not only that, Longao even had a feeling that even a Starry Sky ruler wouldn't dare to take his primordial spirit attacks head-on. Otherwise, he could definitely injure the Starry Sky ruler severely. Even though it was a little ridiculous, Longao was certain of it. He trusted his intuition. But even now, he still didn't know what the black fog was. Why would it want to merge with his primordial spirit for no reason? If he couldn't figure it out, then he wouldn't think about it. Longao knew that some things would naturally be solved when the time came. There was no point in dwelling on it. It was just a waste of time. Brother Nangong, you're here as well? Longao was almost certain that other than himself, no one else would dare to take a single step into the East Imperial Mountain. Other than the Starry Sky rulers being forced out, everyone who had entered the East Imperial Mountain was dead. No matter how tempting the Chaos Stone Tablet was, no one would be willing to risk their lives for it. That was the reason why Longao was so curious. No one else dared to casually step into the East Imperial Mountain. Only Nangong Yin dared to do so. And he was even standing before him unscathed. This was the first time that Longao realized that Nangong Yin wasn't as simple as he had thought. He gave off an unfathomable feeling. This was also the reason why Longao was wary of Nangong Yin. Even though Nangong Yin had once used the 9 revolving life and death mirror to protect Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit, Longao knew clearly in his heart that whether he was a friend or foe was still unknown. One had to be wary of others. Brother Long, congratulations. I was also lucky enough to avoid the corrosion of the black mist. If my guess is correct, Brother Long has already devoured the black mist. Longao became increasingly wary. Although Nangong Yin spoke casually, Longao knew exactly what the black mist's corrosion meant. The slightest carelessness could lead to eternal damnation. Moreover, Nangong Yin knew that he had devoured the black mist. He was too mysterious. Longao didn't show the slightest difference on the surface. He said helplessly, "Not being corroded by the black mist is already a great fortune. Brother Nangong, do you know the secret of the East Imperial Mountain?" Longao was only guessing. As for whether Nangong Yin knew or not, he didn't dare to be certain. However, Longao had always believed in his intuition. Nangong Yin gave him the same feeling as Qin Shuangshuang. It was as if he had known Nangong Yin for a very long time. This kind of intuition was too strange. Could it be that he was really a reincarnation? I know a thing or two. Without waiting for Longao to speak, Nangong Yin continued, "The Eastern Imperial Mountain does indeed have a primal chaos stone tablet. Moreover, it is not just one primal chaos stone tablet. However, Longao, I would like to make a deal with you. Tell me, if you and I join hands, the primal chaos stone tablets of the East Imperial Mountain will all belong to you. However, there is one thing that must belong to me. How about it?" "What is it?" Longao was completely shocked. In Longao's opinion, the primal chaos stone tablets were the most important things. There was simply nothing that could be compared to the primal chaos stone tablets. P.S. I was delayed by some matters. The 9th chapter has been delivered. As for the last chapter, Little 9 will rest for a moment before continuing to write it. I will deliver it later. Please add Little 9's public account, Longao009. Thank you. Chapter 2796. What exactly was it? No matter how he thought about it, Longao couldn't think of anything in the vast cosmos that could compare to or even surpass the Chaos Stone Steelies. Longao's intuition told him that the item Nangong Yin wanted was definitely not simple. He still couldn't figure it out. He was actually willing to give up all the Chaos Stone Steelies. "Brother Long, forgive me for not being able to tell you the truth." As if afraid that Longao wouldn't agree, Nangong Yin continued, "The item I want is extremely important to me, more important than anything else. However, it's worthless to you. Deal." No matter what this thing was, in the current situation, Longao only knew one thing, and that was that the primal Chaos Stone tablet was simply too important to him. Not to mention multiple Chaos Stone Steelies, even if it was just a single one, Longao wouldn't hesitate in the slightest. As for the other matter, Longao was almost certain that Nangong Yin had chosen to give up on the Chaos Stone Steelies. If nothing unexpected happened, Nangong Yin definitely had a Chaos Stone Steely himself. There was no doubt about this. He was deeply hidden. Perhaps apart from himself, there were very few people in the cosmos who knew that Nangong Yin had a Chaos Stone Steely. Since that's the case, let's quickly get what we need. All right. The Donghuang Mountain was boundless. Even Longao's primordial spirit couldn't cover the entire mountain. After Longao devoured all the black mist, the people outside could now enter the Donghuang Mountain. However, after a full hour, people began to continuously enter the Donghuang Mountain from the outside. While searching for the Chaos Stone Steelies and the item Nangong Yin wanted, Longao didn't know if he was deliberately asking or just asking casually. "Brother Nangong, forgive me for asking, but do you know me from before?" Although it felt a bit ridiculous, Longao didn't know why, but he had this feeling that Nangong Yin seemed to know him. It wasn't that strong before. However, after entering the Donghuang Mountain, Longao discovered that this feeling was growing stronger. Nangong Yin smiled and said, I do. They really did know each other. It seemed like his guess was correct. Not only was Nangong Yin a reincarnated body, even he himself was a reincarnated body. Not only do we know each other, Nangong Yin didn't continue and only smiled. His smile was very strange. Brother Nangong, if you have something to say, just say it. Brother Long, I want to ask you, will we become enemies in the future? This question was really hard to answer. Because even Longao wasn't sure if he and Nangong Yin would be enemies or friends in the future. Will we be friends in the future? Ha ha ha, friend or foe, how many people can say for sure? Nangong Yin did not directly answer Longao's question, but the more he did so, the more Longao feared Nangong Yin. Brother Long, this is fate. I wonder if I'll be able to succeed this time. What did that mean? Let's go. Nangong Yin clearly didn't want to say more. Longao also didn't ask because he knew that even if he asked, it would be useless. If Nangong Yin wanted to say something, there was no need for him to ask, Nangong Yin would say it anyway. The two tried to avoid the crowd as much as possible. After all, they were eternal immortal emperors, the so-called peak starry sky immortals. If they encountered a starry sky ruler, things would be very troublesome. Eternal immortal emperor? Nangong Yin's face instantly became gloomy when he saw the three approaching from the left. Nangong Yin only snorted coldly and didn't say anything. However, Longao only needed a glance to know that there was enmity between the two sides. Nangong Yin, back then, we wanted to borrow your 9-revolution life-death mirror to save our brother, but you didn't agree. Isn't it time for us to settle this debt today? The three used to be immortal emperors. They were originally 4 brothers, but one of them had fallen. If Nangong Yin had used the 9-revolution life-death mirror to save him, it would have been a different story. Although the 3 of them were immortal emperors at that time, they weren't Nangong Yin's match even if they joined forces. In desperation, the 3 of them immediately wandered the starry sky of the immortal world, hoping to find a secret domain or a primal chaos tablet. Once they became half-step starry sky rulers or starry sky rulers, they could easily take revenge and kill Nangong Yin. One couldn't help but admit that. The 3 of them were really lucky. Several decades ago, they finally found a secret domain and successfully refined it to become half-step starry sky rulers. A few months ago, they took revenge and were about to go to Eternal Immortal Plane to kill Eternal Immortal Emperor when they suddenly heard news about the Eastern Imperial Mountain and immediately rushed over. In their opinion, they were already strong enough to kill Eternal Immortal Emperor, so it didn't make any difference whether they went early or late. Moreover, finding a primal chaos tablet was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it didn't happen all the time. However, the 3 of them didn't expect to encounter Immortal Emperor Yongsheng on their trip to the Donghuang Mountain. If that was the case, they could kill Immortal Emperor Yongsheng while they were searching for the Chaos Tablet. This would save them a trip to the Eternity Realm. Nangong Yin, you caused my brother's death. Today, I'll send you down to accompany him. Nangong Yin sneered and said in an extremely cold voice, pestering endlessly. In that case, I don't need to be polite. Don't think that you 3 can show off in front of me just because you've become half-step starry sky rulers. Secret domains are just starry sky divine tools. Half-step starry sky rulers are really laughable. Longao did not say anything. His instincts told him that this Nangong Yin was definitely not as simple as he looked. For example, even though he was only a peak starry sky immortal, his strength was far above that of a half-step starry sky ruler. In other words, it wouldn't be hard for him to kill a half-step starry sky ruler right now. Could Nangong Yin be the same as him? Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. The 3 of them laughed out maniacally. They had seen arrogant people before, but not to this extent. Of course, the 3 of them could sense that even though Eternal Immortal Emperor had become Eternal Immortal Emperor, the difference between an Eternal Immortal Emperor and a half-step starry sky ruler was huge. The 2 of them weren't even on the same level. The 3 of them could not figure out what gave Eternal Immortal Emperor such courage and confidence that he would dare to challenge the 3 of them in public. Nangong Yin, I'll let you know today just how big the difference is between a half-step starry sky ruler and an eternal immortal emperor. I'll also let you know that even if you become a half-step starry sky ruler, it's nothing. Author's note: Chapter 10 has been delivered. Wash your face and sleep. Everyone can add Little Nine's public account, Longao 009. In the future, if there are any explosive updates, update times, and everyone's private messages will all be there. Chapter 2797. Nangong Yin didn't show the slightest fear. Even if he was facing 3 half-step starry sky rulers. The 3 Li brothers didn't put eternal life immortal emperor in their eyes. What a joke. A puny eternal immortal emperor wanted to fight against half-step starry sky rulers? It was simply a fool's dream. Not to mention the 3 of them working together, even any one of them could easily deal with the other party. Lin Clan's 3rd brother's eyes turned red. The humiliation eternal life immortal emperor gave them was still vivid in his mind. He had waited for so many years for this day. Die. Li Clan's 3rd brother used his secret realm and launched his most crazy attack. Longao didn't attack. He also wanted to see Nangong Yin's true strength. Nangong Yin was definitely not simple. Sure enough. The 9 revolution life and death mirror suddenly appeared in Nangong Yin's hand. He snorted coldly. Arrogant fool. Nangong Yin snorted, and the 9 revolution life and death mirror in his hand began to release black and white light. A shocking scene occurred. Li Clan's 3rd brother's attack disappeared without a trace as soon as it touched the black and white light. It was like an egg hitting a rock, unable to withstand a single blow. Huh? What's going on? Everyone looked at the 9 revolution life and death mirror in Nangong Yin's hand and was completely dumbfounded. Such a starry sky divine artifact was too terrifying. Everyone knew that eternal life immortal emperor's 9 revolution life and death mirror could reverse life and death, but they didn't expect this starry sky divine artifact to be so powerful. No wonder Nangong Yin was so confident. He wasn't afraid of facing a half-step starry sky ruler. It would be a lie if the 3 Li brothers said they weren't tempted by such a powerful starry sky divine artifact. Their eyes revealed extreme greed. They couldn't wait to kill Nangong Yin and take away the 9 revolution life and death mirror. What a powerful starry sky divine artifact. It was even comparable to his Chaos Axe and Chaos Palace. Longao was almost certain that the 9 revolution life and death mirror in Nangong Yin's hand wasn't a starry sky divine artifact, but a so-called chaos divine artifact. A very powerful one at that. Ha ha ha, I said you're arrogant fool. You're really frogs in a well. Today, I'll let you know that you can't become invincible just by devouring secret realms. After saying that, with the 9 revolutions life and death mirror in hand, Nangong Yin was already fighting against the Li family's 3rd brother. It was almost impossible. It was already impressive enough that the immortal emperor didn't flee when facing a half-step starry sky ruler, let alone take the initiative to attack. It meant that the impossible had now become possible. Big brother. Let's wait and see. Li family's eldest brother and Li family's 2nd brother still didn't want to help. After all, if the 3 of them joined forces, even if they won, it would be a bit embarrassing. The most important point. Both the 1st and 2nd didn't believe that eternal immortal emperor could beat their 3rd brother. It was a bit ridiculous. But what was the result? It was a nonsensical thing, but it really happened. Impossible, this is impossible. Li family's 3rd brother roared in shock, glaring at eternal life immortal emperor. He had thought that it would be easy for him to kill eternal life immortal emperor with his half-step starry sky ruler strength. But now, it seemed like he didn't even know if he could escape unscathed, let alone kill his opponent. Eternal immortal emperor's strength was too terrifying. Li family's 3rd brother couldn't figure out why eternal life immortal emperor's strength could rival a half-step starry sky ruler, and even surpass it. What was the reason? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. Nangong Yin seemed to be very impatient. His speed increased by a notch, and before Li family's 3rd brother could react, he had already arrived behind him. 3rd brother, be careful. It's too late. Nangong Yin sneered, and the 9 revolution life and death mirror in his hand slashed towards Li family's third brother. Li family's third brother let out an earth-shattering roar, but it was too late to turn around. Li family's third brother was struck by the 9 revolution life and death mirror, and his body didn't fly out as expected. His primordial spirit was directly devoured, and Li family's third brother's body slowly fell down. This scene happened so fast that even Li family's eldest brother and second brother didn't have time to save him. You killed third brother, compensate. Before Li family's second brother could finish speaking, a mystic realm appeared in Nangong Yin's hand. It was the mystic realm inside the body of Li family's third brother, who had just been killed. It was precisely because he devoured and refined this mystic realm that Li family's third brother could smoothly advance to half-step Starry Sky Ruler. Everyone thought that Nangong Yin would devour and refine the mystic realm after obtaining it, but a shocking scene appeared once again. Nangong Yin didn't even think about devouring the mystic realm in his hand. Instead, he looked coldly at the 2 people in front of him, and directly destroyed the mystic realm in his hand. Destroying a mystic realm? What kind of strength was this? Not to mention the 2 Li family's third brother, even Longao was a little dumbfounded. This was because he knew very well that even an ordinary Starry Sky Ruler couldn't do this, unless it was a Starry Sky Ruler who had mastered the primal chaos force. However, he had never seen it with his own eyes, so he didn't know whether it was possible. However, Nangong Yin could destroy a mystic realm so easily, which was a little unbelievable. Could it be that Nangong Yin's strength had surpassed an ordinary Starry Sky Ruler, and was comparable to Cloud Emperor? Impossible. Longao was almost certain that although Nangong Yin had devoured the primal chaos stone tablet, he still hadn't refined it, let alone mastered the primal chaos force. Nangong Yin was too mysterious. You. Seeing Nangong Yin destroy a mystic realm in an instant, both the Li family's first brother and second brother were thoroughly frightened. They retreated again and again, unable to say a word. They had seen ferocious people before, but they had never seen such ferocious people. Nangong Yin's strength had exceeded their scope of understanding. His previous arrogance had long disappeared, and even the revenge for their third brother had been thrown out of the sky. Leave. The 2 only thought in their minds was to leave this place as soon as possible. If possible, they didn't want to meet eternal immortal emperor in their lifetime. This kind of strength was a little unimaginable. Unless they could devour the primal chaos stone tablet and become a Starry Sky Ruler, even if the 2 of them joined forces, they wouldn't be Nangong Yin's opponent. Go. Li family's first brother roared. He didn't want to stay and wait for death. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned around and left in a hurry. It was a completely different person from his previous arrogance. Li family's second brother naturally wouldn't stay. He turned around and ran with his first brother. Chapter 2798. They rolled and crawled. At this moment, the 2 of them were no longer lofty half-step Starry Sky Rulers, but 2 frightened people who wanted to flee for their lives. Coming and going as you please, it's too easy. Hearing the voice behind them, the 2 didn't hesitate and rushed out. But what was the result? Nangong Yin obviously didn't want to give up and chased after them. In just a few seconds, 2 miserable screams rang out. Hearing the 2 screams, Longao realized that the 2 half-step Starry Sky Rulers were finished. After killing the 2, Nangong Yin didn't devour the secret realms. Instead, he destroyed them. With such strength, he could be called the #1 expert under Starry Sky Rulers. Longao knew very well that even if he used the primal chaos axe, he wouldn't be Nangong Yin's opponent. Such strength was infinitely close to Starry Sky Rulers. It was too terrifying. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, even Longao wouldn't believe that someone could do it. Nangong Yin, you really hid your strength. You killed 3 half-step Starry Sky Rulers so easily. You're the #1 expert under Starry Sky Rulers. Nangong Yin smiled indifferently. Brother Long, you don't have to belittle yourself. With your strength, killing half-step Starry Sky Rulers should be easier than killing me. The real #1 expert under Starry Sky Rulers should be you, not me. He didn't even make a move, but Nangong Yin knew his strength. Longao found that Nangong Yin seemed to be able to see through everything about him. Who was Nangong Yin? Seeing Longao not speaking, Nangong Yin smiled and said, "Brother Long, let's go." Seeing that Nangong Yin didn't want to say anything, Longao just smiled and followed Nangong Yin. Many people had heard the battle here, but no one dared to come over. With the aura of half-step Starry Sky Rulers, unless it was Starry Sky Rulers, even half-step Starry Sky Rulers wouldn't want to find trouble. It was a complete joke. Provoking a half-step Starry Sky Ruler under such circumstances, unless one had nothing better to do. Longao and Nangong Yin tried to avoid the Starry Sky Ruler as much as possible. After all, both of them were well aware of their respective strengths. Even if they could kill a half-step Starry Sky Ruler, they had no way of contending against a Starry Sky Ruler. "Brother Nangong, where is the thing you're looking for?" Gradually, Longao began to realize that Nangong Yin seemed to be leading him around in circles. Although he felt that he might be overthinking things, he had to be extra careful in this situation. Until now, Longao didn't know whether he and Nangong Yin were friends or foes. He smiled. Nangong Yin said helplessly, "The thing I'm looking for is too strange. Unless we're lucky, it'll be very hard for us to find it." From beginning to end, Nangong Yin didn't say what he was looking for. Longao didn't want to continue like this. This time, he had entered the Donghuang Mountain even at the risk of his life. He wanted to enter the Donghuang Mountain in order to successfully obtain the Chaos Tablet. You could say that. Nangong Yin could wait, but he didn't want to wait for even a second. The longer he delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for Qin Shuangshuang. "Brother Nangong, why don't we split up and look for what we're looking for?" How could Nangong Yin not understand the meaning behind Longao's words? He didn't give it any thought and nodded, "That's fine, but you have to be careful. If you encounter a Starry Sky Ruler, don't fight force with force." Longao didn't continue to hesitate and immediately turned to leave. Nangong Yin's face gradually turned gloomy as he watched his figure disappear. He coldly said, "I'll make you pay for what you couldn't do in the past." Qin Shuangshuang, humph. If Longao heard Nangong Yin's words, who knows what he would think? The Donghuang Mountain was boundless. Even if hundreds of thousands of cultivators entered, it would be like a drop of water in the ocean. If one didn't personally enter the Donghuang Mountain, it would be hard to imagine that a mountain peak in a plain could be a completely different world. Longao didn't dare waste the slightest bit of time. To him, and strictly speaking, to Qin Shuangshuang, time was life. Longao was extremely anxious. He didn't know why, but unknowingly, Qin Shuangshuang's position in Longao's heart had become comparable to Yu Yin and the others. Even Longao himself didn't know how to describe it. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. He had to find it in the shortest amount of time possible. Longao had already decided that if he couldn't find the tablet, then he wouldn't hesitate to kill the Starry Sky Ruler and take the tablet by force. Even if he knew he couldn't do it, he still had to do it. Longao was well aware that he wasn't a match for the Starry Sky Ruler, but for Qin Shuangshuang, he wouldn't hesitate to put his life on the line. Normally, Longao wouldn't be so flamboyant. After all, if others found out he had the tablet, the consequences would be unthinkable. But now, Longao couldn't care less. The attributeless tablet floated in front of Longao, releasing a terrifying aura. Even if it couldn't cover the entire Donghuang Mountain, it could cover as much as it could. Everyone who was searching for the tablet suddenly felt the aura of primal chaos. They were all overjoyed and immediately rushed in Longao's direction. In a short 10 minutes, Longao was surrounded by people. What was going on? Looking at the primal chaos stone tablet floating in front of Longao, everyone could almost affirm that this person's luck was actually so good to actually be able to find a primal chaos stone tablet in such a short period of time. Not only that, many people recognized the person in front of them as the one who had fearlessly entered the Donghuang Mountain. They had never imagined that not only had he not died, but he had also successfully obtained the tablet. Without a doubt, when they saw the primal chaos stone tablet floating in front of Longao, many people swarmed over. However, none of the Starry Sky rulers moved. They all looked at Longao with solemn expressions because they couldn't understand. Since Longao had already obtained the primal chaos stone tablet, according to normal circumstances, he should have found a hidden place to refine it. But in the end, he was refining the primal chaos stone tablet here without any scruples. Was it helplessness? Or was it on purpose? If this person had done it on purpose, then why had he done it? None of the rulers of the universe had dared to act rashly. However, even though the others knew that something was amiss, they still decided to act. They wanted to obtain the Chaos Tablet and become a ruler of the universe. Chapter 2799. Longao didn't care about the people around him. Since he dared to release the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao had already guessed that this would be the result. Only by relying on the neutral Chaos Stone Tablet could he sense the other Chaos Planes of the Eastern Imperial Mountain. For Qin Shuangxuang, even if he had to face danger, it was worth it. As for Qin Shuangxuang, Longao felt more and more different. It felt very special. Longao didn't care about the others. Because if it were any other Chaos Stone Tablet, even if he couldn't devour it, he could touch it. At most, the tablet would leave on its own. Only he had the neutral Chaos Stone Tablet. Apart from himself, if anyone else dared to touch it, there would only be one result: they would be devoured by the tablet. This was the terrifying thing about the neutral Chaos Stone Tablet. Since they wanted to die, he definitely wouldn't stop them. As expected. It was just as Longao had thought. The reason he dared to release his countless Chaos Stone Tablets was because he knew how terrifying they were. Someone finally made contact with the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, what followed was a miserable shriek. Before this person could even react, the primal Chaos Stone Tablet had already devoured him. What was going on? In a few short seconds, hundreds of people had been devoured by the tablet. At this moment, the rulers of the universe finally understood why this person didn't fear anyone else. What a terrifying Chaos Stone Tablet. They had all devoured a Chaos Stone Tablet, but the ones they had devoured weren't as powerful as this. Seeing so many immortal cultivators being devoured and killed in front of them, the remaining people stopped abruptly. It was still the same sentence. Although the temptation of the Chaos Stone Tablet was huge, compared to their lives, it wasn't enough. They were very shocked. No one knew what was going on with the Chaos Stone Tablet in front of them. However, many people had already guessed that this definitely had something to do with the youth behind it. Perhaps, if they could control the youth, they would be able to smoothly obtain the Chaos Stone Tablet. Thinking of this, everyone looked towards Longao. At a glance, there were thousands of people. The rulers of the universe still didn't move. They still couldn't see through this youth. They were too shocked and couldn't understand. A mere immortal emperor was actually able to do this. If someone said that there wasn't something fishy going on, they wouldn't believe it even if they were beaten to death. Could it be that this person was not afraid at all? If that was the case, if they acted rashly, they would lose more than they gained. Of course, everyone knew what this Chaos Tablet meant. Even Star Ruler couldn't wait to get his hands on this Chaos Tablet, let alone the others. However, they had already devoured the primal Chaos Tablet. The most important thing was still safety. However, this was not the case for the others. Whoever obtained the primal Chaos Stone Tablet first would have a chance of becoming the ruler of space. The Starry Sky Dominator was the strongest expert in the vast starry sky. Once he became the Starry Sky Dominator, he would be able to get whatever he wanted. Longao originally wanted to use the attribute-less Chaos Stone Tablet to sense the other Chaos Stone Tablets, but he didn't expect that in less than 5 minutes of sensing, so many people had already gathered, and they even wanted to attack him. Longao would not be merciful because he knew very well that being merciful to the enemy was being cruel to himself. Especially at this time, he absolutely couldn't let anyone disturb him. God knew what Qin Shuangxuang's situation was now. Time was pressing and he couldn't waste any time. Thinking of this, Longao did not hesitate any longer. Wielding the Chaos Axe in his hands, He slashed out at the people coming at him from all directions. The third axe of the Chaos 9 axes, devouring the heavens. Of the first 3 axes of the Chaos 9 axes, the first and second axes were AoE attacks. Only the third axe was a one-on-one attack. That was the reason why Longao used the third axe without hesitation. Devouring the heavens. Slash. 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 As Longao used the Chaos Axe, the space around him started to crack. That's right, these were cracks. Be it the vast starry sky of the immortal world or the starry sky of the immortal world, Longao could shatter the starry sky with ease. This was something that even the starry sky dominators could not do. What's that? Looking at the cracks in the starry sky before them, everyone was completely dumbfounded. Everyone knew clearly in their hearts what these cracks meant. The cracks in the starry sky were the strongest force in the entire universe. There was no one who could fight against them. Just who in the world was the other party? To think that he could shatter the starry sky and create such cracks. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, no one would have believed it. It was way too horrifying. Many of the people around them had already reached their maximum speed. Even if they had caught sight of the cracks in the starry sky before them, it was clearly too late for them to stop. Many of them were swallowed up by the cracks in the starry sky. In fact, they did not even have the time to fight back before they were devoured cleanly. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of people had already been devoured by the cracks in the starry sky. Just the thought of it was enough to tell how tragic it was. Longao's cultivation state had already been restored to its limits. Endless starry sky. Not to mention the others, even if it were a half-step starry sky dominator, he could kill them with ease. As for the others, he could even kill them in a second. The hundreds of starry sky dominators were completely flabbergasted right now. They had seen strong people before, but they had never seen someone this strong. If Longao were a starry sky dominator, it would have been fine. But in the end, Longao was just a puny immortal emperor, and yet, he could kill them in a second. But that did not matter. After all, no matter how strong the immortal emperor was, he was still an ant-like existence in the face of these so-called starry sky dominators. But the thing that truly shocked them was the fact that the other party could shatter the starry sky. Looking at the masses being devoured by the cracks in the starry sky dominators were shocked as well. Even if it were them, if they were to be devoured by the cracks in the starry sky, they would not have a good ending either. Just how in the world did the other party do it? Could it be because of the axe in his hand? Many people had already guessed that the reason why the other party could shatter the starry sky was probably because of the starry sky divine weapon in his hand. If they could successfully obtain the axe, they could even kill warriors of the same level as them. Thinking of this, everyone's face was filled with greed. They could not wait to get their hands on the axe. Even the starry sky dominators were tempted by such a heaven-defying starry sky divine weapon. If the starry sky dominators could think of this, how could the others not? Because of this, Longao's shattering of the starry sky did not have a deterrent effect. Instead, it made the masses even more greedy. Not only did they want to take away the primal chaos stone tablet, but they also wanted to snatch the primal chaos axe. Chapter 2800. This time, not only the others, but even the starry sky rulers couldn't resist. What kind of joke was this? Not to mention the primal chaos stele, the starry sky divine artifact in this person's hand was too heaven-defying. No one could resist such a temptation. Hundreds of starry sky rulers attacked at the same time. Those who had just attacked stopped. No matter how tempting the primal chaos stele or the starry sky divine artifact were, it was nothing compared to their lives. Longao's expression was ugly to the extreme. He had already expected the starry sky rulers to attack, but he hadn't expected hundreds of them to attack at once. How spectacular was that? In fact, Longao had guessed completely wrong. If it were just the primal chaos stele, many of the starry sky rulers wouldn't have attacked immediately. After all, Longao was too strange. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao's starry sky divine artifact was beyond everyone's understanding. Even the starry sky rulers couldn't do such a thing. You could say that. If they had to choose between the primal chaos stele and the starry sky divine artifact, all of the starry sky rulers would choose the starry sky divine artifact without hesitation. The reason was simple. No matter which starry sky ruler it was, they had already devoured the primal chaos stele. The reason they had come this time was to obtain more primal chaos steles and create their own starry sky rulers. However, such a heaven-defying starry sky divine artifact could directly increase their own strength. It was much more useful than obtaining another primal chaos stele. No one was a fool. Of course they knew what choice to make. Longao quickly figured out the root of the matter and sighed inwardly. He had been too careless. If it had been a normal attack, the starry sky rulers wouldn't have acted rashly. But it had already happened. He didn't regret it in the slightest. You want to deal with me? Longao wasn't afraid at all. A second later, he disappeared without a trace. Even the primal chaos stele was gone. Ah! He and the primal chaos stele were gone? Looking at the empty space in front of them, the starry sky rulers who had been prepared to attack were all dumbfounded. They had no idea how the other party had done it. Everyone looked at each other. None of them knew where the other party had gone. All of the starry sky rulers locked onto him, but no one was able to do so. They were completely shocked. Even though he had seen it with his own eyes and experienced it for himself, he still found it hard to believe. Within the primal chaos palace, Longao let out a long sigh of relief. Although he was very confident in his strength and could even kill a half-step starry sky ruler, it was still not enough to face a starry sky ruler. It was even more beautiful. There had been too many star rulers just now. Even if each of them had used one move, he would have died without a burial place. It was very depressing. Because of the matter with Qin Shuangshuang, Longao knew that he had been too anxious this time. Now that he had exposed the primal chaos stone tablet and the primal chaos axe, he was afraid that as soon as he left the primal chaos hall, countless people would come after him. Regardless of whether it was the non-elemental chaos tablet or the chaos axe, they were items that everyone dreamed of obtaining. Even Galaxy Ruler was no exception. If he couldn't use the attributeless chaos stone tablet to sense the existence of other chaos stone tablets, then it would be even more difficult to find them. What should he do? Previously, everyone had entered the Donghuang Mountain to search for the chaos tablets. But now, it wasn't just searching for the chaos tablets. Everyone had a common goal, and that was to find that person. Everyone knew that this person not only had a primal chaos tablet, but also a heaven-defying cosmic god artifact. Even the starry sky ruler couldn't resist the temptation of this cosmic god artifact. One could imagine how powerful this cosmic god artifact was. Because of this, everyone was frantically trying to lock onto the mysterious person's location. At this time, it wasn't a competition of strength, but of luck. If they were lucky, then they could lock onto the mysterious person's location. When the time came and they killed the mysterious person, then they could smoothly obtain the Chaos Stone Tablet and the Cosmic God Artifact. Just thinking about it made them excited. The mysterious person had disappeared under the noses of countless starry sky rulers and experts. Anyone who knew about it was shocked beyond words. Soon, some people were already guessing that in addition to the Chaos Stone Tablet and the Cosmic God Artifact, the mysterious person might also have a heaven-defying Cosmic God Artifact. At the thought of a Cosmic God Artifact, and one that even galaxy rulers couldn't sense, countless people went crazy. They were all guessing who the mysterious person was to have so many things. Every item he took out was enough to shock the entire vast starry sky. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. They thought that they could quickly lock onto the mysterious person's location, but in the end, even after 3 days, no one could successfully lock onto the mysterious person's location. Even galaxy rulers couldn't do it. The conclusion was that the divine weapon in the mysterious man's hand was too powerful. In fact, Longao had already come out, but he intentionally hid from everyone. The Donghuang Mountain was boundless. If Longao wanted to, it would be difficult for anyone to find him. However, Longao didn't dare to continue using the attributeless Chaos Stone Tablet to sense the Chaos Stone Tablet in the Donghuang Mountain. If he did that, it would be too difficult to find the Chaos Stone Tablet. Donghuang Mountain, in an extremely hidden cave. Longao looked at Qin Shuangshuang in his arms. He didn't know why, but he felt that his relationship with Qin Shuangshuang wasn't simple. It was as if they had known each other for countless years. Looking at Qin Shuangshuang in his arms, his heart ached. It even exceeded his feelings for Yu Yin and the others. Longao was shocked. He knew very well that among all his women, the one he loved the most was Yu Yin. After all, Yu Yin was his first woman. However, looking at Qin Shuangshuang, Longao realized that he loved her the most. What was going on? He had only known Qin Shuangshuang for a few days. What was going on? Could it be that he and Qin Shuangshuang were reincarnated, and their relationship in their previous life wasn't simple? Other than this explanation, he couldn't think of any other reason. However, Longao did not know what the relationship between him and Qin Shuangshuang was. It seemed that it would not be easy to figure it out. Right now, there was only one thing he needed to do, and that was to do everything he could to find a primal Chaos Stone Tablet and heal Qin Shuangshuang's injuries. It was easy to think about, but difficult to actually do. Chapter 2801. Eastern Imperial Mountain, the winds and clouds were changing. 80% of the people, in addition to continuing to search for primal Chaos Tablets, continued to lock onto Longao's position. It was always easier to think than to do. More and more people realized that the mysterious person was too strong. The space artifact he had was so heaven-defying that even the ruler of the universe couldn't lock onto him. Ling Chengfei had only been a ruler of the universe for a few thousand years, the shortest. The primal chaos tablet Ling Chengfei had devoured was of the fire element. While others were locking onto Longao's position, Ling Chengfei was searching for the primal chaos tablet of the Eastern Imperial Mountain. From beginning to end, Ling Chengfei hadn't attacked Longao. "You've been following me for 3 days. Shouldn't you come out and meet me?" All of a sudden, Ling Chengfei stopped, turned around, and looked coldly in front of him. However, there was no one in front of him. "I'm Longao. What's your name?" "Longao." Ling Chengfei was very curious because he didn't know the person in front of him at all. "Ling Chengfei, why are you looking for me?" Although curious, Ling Chengfei wasn't worried at all. No matter what, he was still the ruler of the universe, and this person was just the so-called immortal emperor. "I want to search for primal chaos tablets with you. How about that?" His expression darkening, Ling Chengfei said coldly, "Why should I search for primal chaos tablets with you?" Ling Chengfei's expression darkened more and more because no one in the entire universe knew that he could find primal chaos tablets. Thousands of years ago, he'd succeeded in his first search. Although he'd paid a great price and spent more than 1,000 years, it had all been worth it. This time, Ling Chengfei was still confident that he could find them. "I need a primal chaos tablet. What does that have to do with me?" Before Longao could speak, Ling Chengfei continued coldly, "When they attacked you, I was the only one who didn't do anything. Do you think I'm easy to talk to?" Ling Chengfei shook his head. To say that a ruler of the universe was easy to talk to was a big mistake. "Brother Ling, for some reason, my wife needs a primal chaos tablet, so..." He waved his hand. Ling Chengfei did not give Longao a chance to continue. He said, "Your wife has nothing to do with me. You'd better not mess with me, or else." At this point, Ling Chengfei did not continue, but the meaning in his words was very clear. He turned around and left. "I can give you anything in exchange, except for the 2 Chaos Divine artifacts and the Chaos Stone Tablet." In the end, Ling Chengfei still stopped and sneered, "Even for me, finding a primal Chaos Tablet is definitely not an easy task. I've only found 1 primal Chaos Tablet in thousands of years. I don't have the slightest confidence that I'll be able to find one this time. Even if I can find the Chaos Stone Tablet, I will create another Starry Sky Ruler. If you are willing to trade your Chaos Divine artifact for it, I might consider it." Not to mention Ling Chengfei, If Longao took out the 2 primal chaos tablets, any Starry Sky ruler would be willing to trade with a primal chaos tablet. Ling Chengfei actually knew about chaos divine artifacts. It seemed that the starry sky of the immortal realm was not simple. If it had been in the vast universe before, not even Master God Diviner and the others would know about chaos divine artifacts. I want to know, how did you lock onto the chaos stone tablet? Longao was only guessing. As for whether it was true or not, he did not know. However, at this moment, Longao was almost certain that Ling Chengfei definitely had a way to lock onto the chaos stone tablet. Although it would not be that easy, compared to others, Ling Chengfei had the upper hand. Do you think I'll tell you? Grasp the power of chaos. Ling Chengfei, who was about to leave, heard Longao's words and his expression suddenly changed. He naturally knew what it meant to grasp the power of chaos. An ordinary Starry Sky ruler and a Starry Sky ruler who had grasped the power of chaos were 2 completely different concepts. The 2 could not be compared at all. How can I believe you? In the entire Starry Sky of the immortal realm, there were more than 1,000 Starry Sky rulers who had devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet. However, it was unknown whether there were people who had grasped the power of chaos. If he could grasp the power of chaos, it would be more beneficial to him than obtaining 2 Chaos Divine artifacts. If you believe me, you will choose to believe me even if I don't tell you. If you don't believe me, you won't believe me no matter what I say or even if I make a blood oath. What do you say? Longao did not say any more nonsense because he knew very well that Ling Chengfei already had an answer in his heart. It would be useless for him to say anything more. Ling Chengfei stared at the youth in front of him and finally smiled. He shook his head and said, I won't believe you. If you have a way, why are you acting like this now? Ling Chengfei's meaning was very clear. In other words, if Longao really had a way to help him obtain the power of chaos, then why couldn't he refine the Chaos Stone Tablet? This was simply nonsense. Let alone him, no matter who it was, they would not choose to believe this. Speaking of his attributeless primal Chaos Tablet, Longao was depressed to the extreme. How could he not want to refine the attributeless primal Chaos Tablet? However, the attributeless primal Chaos Tablet had yet to open. Not to mention now, even if he waited for countless years, he still wouldn't be able to refine it. Now that the attributeless Chaos Stone Tablet had been half opened after devouring Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood, even Longao himself did not know when the other half would be opened. How could he not be depressed? In that case, I won't disturb you any further. Although Longao was unwilling to give up, he did not want to waste any more time. As for forcing Ling Chengfei to tell him how to lock onto the Chaos Stone Tablet, he did not even need to think about it. With his current strength, he could not compete with a Starry Sky ruler. Wait. Just as Longao was about to turn and leave, Ling Chengfei suddenly called out to him and said, Do you really have a way to help me obtain the power of chaos? Ling Chengfei was unwilling to give up even if there was only a sliver of a chance. After all, if he could obtain the power of chaos in the Chaos Stone Tablet, he would be able to soar to the heavens. If he really missed out on this opportunity, it would be even more difficult to find another one like this in the future. In the end, Ling Chengfei still wanted to try and see if Longao was telling the truth. Chapter 2802. Primal Chaos Force was too important for a Starry Sky ruler. I don't have full confidence, but I'm confident that I can help you control the primal chaos energy in the tablet. Ling Chengfei stared at the youth in front of him. Believe. Or choose not to believe. Ling Chengfei was conflicted because he didn't want to believe it. He knew better than anyone how difficult it was to control primal chaos energy. If a star ruler told him that, he might have believed it. But now. However, the one who had promised him was an immortal emperor. Even if the other party had already devoured the primal chaos tablet, a person who couldn't even refine the primal chaos tablet was telling him that there was a way for him to control the primal chaos power. It seemed that he was too anxious. He sighed deeply in his heart. He didn't want to say anything more. If it was another star ruler, they would definitely try to snatch the primal chaos artifacts in Longao's hands, including the tablet. But Ling Chengfei didn't. All these years, he had never bullied the weak. If it was his, it was his. If it wasn't, he wouldn't force it. It was because of this that Longao valued him. If he could become friends with this person, it would be a good thing. No matter what, he had many enemies, and they were all powerful star rulers and half-step star rulers. If he could become friends with Ling Chengfei, it would be beneficial for him. But Ling Chengfei didn't believe him. This was a bit troublesome. What should he do? Without you, I can still find the tablet. In the end, Longao chose to give up because he knew that no matter what he said, the other party wouldn't believe him. He knew it wouldn't work, so why bother? It would just be a waste of time. He felt helpless. Longao wanted to kill someone. He could have used the neutral tablet to sense the tablet in the Donghuang mountain. But now, he couldn't. If he used the neutral tablet, it would attract countless troubles. It would hinder him from sensing the tablet in the Donghuang mountain. Longao wouldn't be so rash. After all, saving Qin Shuangshuang was his priority. Everything else could be avoided. Apart from using the attribute-less Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao really couldn't think of any other way to sense the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Time was too tight. Still worried, Longao entered the Primal Chaos Hall and found that Qin Shuangshuang's primordial spirit was still there. Only then did he heave a sigh of relief. As long as his primordial spirit was not destroyed, he could recover. When he thought of the primordial spirit, Longao thought of Nangong Yin. In this trip to the immortal world's starry sky, whether it was Qin Shuangshuang or Nangong Yin, they seemed to have known each other for countless years. Longao was almost certain that Nangong Yin knew something that he didn't. It was just that Nangong Yin didn't say anything. It was too strange. Longao still didn't know whether Nangong Yin was friend or foe, but facing this person, Longao always felt a trace of uneasiness. This made Longao feel very uncomfortable, extremely uncomfortable. Even when he had met the Oracle, including Emperor Yun, he had never felt this way. Only when he met Nangong Yin did he feel this way. Even now, Longao still didn't know what was going on. Why did he feel so uneasy when he met Nangong Yin, as if Nangong Yin would become his greatest enemy? Others might not know about it, but how could Longao not know about it? Nangong Yin had already devoured a tablet. It was just that he hadn't cultivated it yet. But even so, Nangong Yin's current strength was enough to kill a half-step cosmic ruler. If he were to wait until Nangong Yin cultivated the tablet and became a cosmic ruler, it would be even harder for him to fight against him. The more he thought about it, the more his face turned grim. Should he strike first? Longao was truly worried. He didn't dare to strike first. After all, he didn't know how many more trump cards Nangong Yin had up his sleeves. After confirming that Qin Shuangshuang was fine for the time being, Longao left the Primal Chaos Hall. Even though he couldn't use the neutral tablet to sense the tablet in the East Royal Mountain, he didn't choose to give up. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to find the tablet. Not only did he have to find it, he had to lock onto it at the fastest speed possible. Who knew if anyone else would find it as well? Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. A series of laughter rang out. Luo Xian was ecstatic to the maximum. She hadn't expected that she would actually be able to find a Primal Chaos tablet. Even though she had already devoured one, to be able to get her hands on a second one was still something to be excited about. Several tens of thousands of years ago, Luo Xian had successfully devoured the Primal Chaos tablet and cultivated it to become a cosmic ruler. The reason why she was here this time around was to try her luck and see if she could get her hands on another cosmic ruler. If that was the case, she might even be able to create another cosmic ruler. Having another cosmic ruler was always a good thing. Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei were the same. They were one of the few who didn't strike out at Longao. Congratulations, Miss Luo. Looking at Ling Chengfei, who had suddenly appeared before her, Luo Xian merely chuckled out. It was clear that she was in a good mood. In just a few minutes, many people had gathered around. However, no one dared to strike out to snatch it. This was a complete joke. Luo Xian's strength was there for all to see. Even the cosmic rulers wouldn't dare to snatch it casually, let alone others. After all, Luo Xian's strength and temper weren't for show. Ling Chengfei, your body type can sense the primal chaos tablet, but you're still not as fast as me. Ling Chengfei smiled bitterly. He had thought that with his unique body type, he would be able to find the primal chaos tablet. But by the looks of it, his body type was dependent on luck as well. If he were lucky, he might be able to get his hands on the primal chaos tablet. If he were unlucky, he might not even be able to find it in 10,000 years, let alone a year or two. East Royal Mountain. Even though they knew that there was a primal chaos tablet, Luo Xian had gotten it first. However, other than his bitter smile, Ling Chengfei was truly congratulating her. Luo Xian knew Ling Chengfei's character well. Furthermore, the two of them had a pretty good relationship. In the entire immortal world, other than Ling Chengfei, no one else dared to call her Miss Luo. Even the cosmic rulers wouldn't dare to do so. Congratulations. Luo Xian didn't care about the other cosmic rulers around her. She felt very bored. All the cosmic rulers, including the others, left. Soon, only Ling Chengfei and Luo Xian were left. Since you're here, why don't you come out? You're really like a lingering spirit. Ling Chengfei was so angry that he laughed. He never thought that Luo Xian would dare to follow him. Chapter 2803. Longao smiled and walked out. Brother Ling, how have you been? Ling Chengfei smiled wryly. If it were anyone else, how could they continue to follow a ruler of the stars? That would be seeking death. But the person in front of him dared to do so. However, he had to admit that Ling Chengfei's temper was very good, and he didn't want to kill the innocent. Otherwise, any other ruler of the stars would have killed him long ago. Ling Chengfei even suspected that the other party had figured out his temper and personality, which was why he dared to follow him so fearlessly. But even so, Ling Chengfei really admired the courage of this person. Brother Ling, who is this? His name is Longao. He came to me before and asked me to help him lock onto a chaos tablet. The exchange was to help me obtain the power of chaos in the tablet. Ah! Hearing this, Luo Xian was very shocked. There was no choice between a chaos tablet and grasping the power of chaos. He would definitely choose to grasp the power of chaos. If it were any other cultivator, they would definitely choose to devour the chaos tablet. But Ling Chengfei didn't have this problem. Ling Chengfei had already devoured the chaos tablet. Even if he continued to obtain the chaos tablet, he would only be able to create a ruler of the stars as a follower. However, if Ling Chengfei grasped the power of chaos, then it would be a completely different concept. Before Luo Xian could say anything, Ling Chengfei said, Miss Luo, although Longao has already devoured the primal chaos tablet, he has not refined it. Do you think that someone who cannot even refine the primal chaos tablet can help me obtain the primal chaos power within the primal chaos tablet? So that was it. Luo Xian was a bit dazed when she heard about the power of chaos. Now that she thought about it, it was indeed so. However, Luo Xian was still very surprised. Longao, since you've already devoured the chaos tablet, then you should refine it as soon as possible. Why continue to lock onto the chaos tablet? Before Longao could speak, Ling Chengfei continued, he wants to save his wife. After hearing this, Luo Xian nodded approvingly. However, Luo Xian didn't say much. First of all, although she had just obtained a chaos stone tablet, she wasn't going to hand it over. After all, creating a star ruler's follower would be very beneficial to her. Secondly, she didn't believe that Longao could really help them obtain the power of chaos within the chaos stone tablet. That was complete nonsense. Just as Ling Chengfei had said, a person who could not even refine the primal chaos stone tablet was actually talking about obtaining primal chaos energy. Longao, I have to admit that you are indeed very powerful. However, there are some things. At this point, Luo Xian did not continue speaking, but the meaning of her words was very clear. Both Ling Chengfei and Luo Xian had seen what had happened with their own eyes. The fact that Longao could shatter the starry sky had truly shocked them. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't waste any words and would just snatch it. However, The two of them didn't. Longao admired the two of them very much. Because of this, he really wanted to make friends with them. Can you give me the extra primal chaos stone tablet in your hand? Ling Chengfei was helpless to the extreme. He had seen arrogant people before, but he had never seen someone this arrogant. So what if he could shatter the starry sky? At the very least, he couldn't kill the starry sky ruler. Ling Chengfei didn't say anything, but he was clearly unhappy. Although they didn't want to bully the weak and kill the innocent, it didn't mean that they wouldn't kill. If the other party went too far, Ling Chengfei didn't mind killing him. Luo Xian, however, was not angry at all. Instead, she said with interest, "No problem. Tell me your conditions." Longao was no fool. Of course, he knew that Luo Xian wouldn't agree to his conditions for no reason. It seemed that Luo Xian, like Ling Chengfei, also wanted his two Chaos Divine tools. However, after thinking about it, he understood. One was a Chaos Divine tool that could shatter the starry sky, and the other was a spatial Chaos Divine tool that could evade the starry sky ruler's lock-on. No matter which one it was, countless people would fight over it. Longao, you came to us so openly. Aren't you afraid that we'll snatch the Chaos Divine tool and Chaos Stone tablet in your hands? Both Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei knew very well that the other party dared to follow them because he had nothing to fear. His greatest reliance was the spatial Chaos Divine tool. If that was the case, there was nothing they could do. With such a heaven-defying Chaos Divine tool, and a spatial Chaos Divine tool at that, he would be invincible. He could even flaunt his strength in front of a starry sky ruler. Chaos Divine tool. In Longao's vast starry sky, only a few people knew about it. However, in the immortal realm, all the starry sky rulers, including half-step starry sky rulers and immortal Emperor Immortal, knew about it. Knowing about it was one thing, having it or not was another thing. In any case, there were very few Chaos Divine tools in the immortal realm. One could probably count them with one's fingers. This was also why everyone went crazy when Longao revealed his Chaos Divine tool. Do you think I'm afraid? Longao wasn't afraid at all. With the Chaos Stone tablet, he could ignore any starry sky ruler. If it had been in the past, Longao would have been suppressed by the joint forces and wouldn't have been able to enter the Primal Chaos Palace. Now, however, Longao knew that his situation was completely different. No one could lock onto his Primal Chaos Palace. Not even the Cloud Emperor could do it, let alone an ordinary star ruler. Luo Xian smiled and said, "Brother Ling and I wouldn't stoop to that level." Longao believed this very much. The two of them were different. If it were any other starry sky ruler, they would have attacked even if they knew they couldn't lock onto their target. However, the two of them were different. Even if he didn't have the Chaos Palace, they probably wouldn't have attacked. Longao's impression of the two grew more and more favorable. If your condition is for me to give you two Chaos Divine tools in exchange for your Chaos Stone tablet, then forget it. If he didn't have the Chaos Axe and the Chaos Palace, Longao knew very well that he would have died countless times. Even if he could get a Chaos Stone tablet to save Qin Shuangshuang, he wouldn't be able to face a powerful enemy. It would have been a tragedy. He wanted to save Qin Shuangshuang very much, but Longao was still very rational. He didn't act rashly. He knew very well what he could do and what he couldn't do. Luo Xian wasn't surprised at all, nor was she angry. She had already guessed that Longao would do this. How could Longao, who had already devoured the Chaos Stone tablet, use two Chaos Divine tools in exchange for her Chaos Stone tablet? He probably wouldn't even be willing to use one Chaos Divine tool. Chapter 2804. Not to mention Longao, even Ling Chengfei was a little curious. What did Luo Xian mean? Did Luo Xian choose to believe Longao? That was not possible. Even she did not believe it. No one would choose to believe it. Luo Xian was not stupid. How could she believe Longao's words? I don't need your Chaos Divine tool. She knew that the other party would not use his Chaos Divine tool to exchange for the Chaos Tablet. Why would she ask for a rebuff? I don't know your condition. Luo Xian's answer surprised Longao. He did not expect the ruler of the universe to not want his chaos divine tool. Longao clearly knew how tempting the primal chaos axe and the primal chaos palace were. Do you really have a way to let us obtain the chaos power in the chaos tablet? Miss Luo. Ling Chengfei was extremely depressed. He knew that the other party was lying. Why did he still ask? However, Luo Xian did not say anything. Instead, she stared at the youth in front of her. Not now. However, when I refine the chaos tablet in my body and become the ruler of the universe, I will definitely be able to help the two of you obtain the chaos power. Intuition. All along, Longao had always trusted his intuition very much. His intuition told him that the neutral chaos tablet he had was not simple. Once the neutral chaos tablet was activated, he would be able to refine it like everyone else. Once he succeeded, he would be able to help the two of them obtain the chaos power. Sigh. Ling Chengfei sighed deeply. He was already filled with killing intent. He felt that he and Luo Xian were too easy to talk to. If it were anyone else, would the other party dare to do this? I believe you. Ah! Not only Ling Chengfei, but even Longao was dumbfounded. He did not expect that Luo Xian would choose to believe him. After all, no matter who it was, they would not believe him. He was just trying his luck. If he could not use the neutral chaos tablet to sense it, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find the chaos tablet. If time permitted, it would be fine. However, the current situation was too urgent. He had to find the chaos tablet as soon as possible. Otherwise, the longer he delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for Qin Shuangshuang. The fastest method was the primal chaos stone tablet in Luo Xian's hands. However, Longao didn't have much hope. What did Luo Xian mean? Lady Luo, what do you mean? Ling Chengfei seemed to have suffered a blow. Even if Luo Xian had already devoured the primal chaos stone tablet, this primal chaos stone tablet was still extremely valuable. How could it be given away just like that? Before Luo Xian could say anything, Ling Chengfei looked at Longao and said, I don't know what you mean, but let me give you a piece of advice. Luo Xian is my friend. You'd better not have any ideas about her, or else. At this point, Ling Chengfei did not continue, but the meaning in his words was obvious. His body was filled with murderous intent. Longao was not angry at all. Instead, he appreciated Ling Chengfei even more. This was what a friend should be like. After stopping Ling Chengfei, Luo Xian directly handed the primal chaos stone tablet to Longao. Looking at the primal chaos stone tablet in his hand, Longao asked curiously, why did you choose to believe me? If it were anyone else, with Luo Xian's strength, it would be as easy as flipping her hand to take back the primal chaos stone tablet. However, Longao's situation was completely different. He possessed a heaven-defying spatial chaos artifact. Once Longao stepped into the spatial chaos artifact, even the two of them would be powerless. Ling Chengfei was completely anxious. He had not expected Luo Xian to really give the primal chaos stone tablet to Longao. If Longao hid in the spatial chaos artifact at this time, they would not be able to do anything at all. I believe in my own eyes. Longao smiled. He didn't continue asking. After all, Luo Xian had already said so. If he continued to ask, it would be unnecessary. Ling Chengfei seemed to want to say something, but when the words reached his mouth, he swallowed them back. After I refine the primal chaos stone tablet and become the ruler of the universe, I will come find you. At that time, you and I will both control the power of primal chaos. Longao felt helpless. Even if he could open the other half of the primal chaos stone tablet, he didn't dare to guarantee how long it would take for him to refine it and become the ruler of the universe. Luo Xian said, no problem. Goodbye. Longao did not continue to stay. He took the primal chaos stone tablet that Luo Xian gave him and quickly left. Luo Xian, what are you thinking? You should know what a primal chaos stone tablet means. If you can create a ruler of the universe, at that time, before Ling Chengfei could finish, Luo Xian waved her hand and said, I believe in him. Ling Chengfei naturally knew Luo Xian's personality, so he didn't continue. After all, the two of them were friends. If they worked together to search for the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, their chances of finding it would be higher. After obtaining the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao left the Donghuang Mountain as quickly as possible. After all, he had come to the Donghuang Mountain this time to obtain a primal Chaos Stone Tablet and save Qin Shuangshuang. Now that it was done, there was no need to wait any longer. After finding an extremely secluded place, Longao immediately entered the primal Chaos Hall. Without any hesitation, he let Qin Shuangshuang devour the primal Chaos Stone Tablet. As long as Qin Shuangshuang could devour the primal Chaos Stone Tablet, there was no doubt that not only would her primal Chaos Spirit be fine, but she would also quickly recover. In just a few short seconds, the primal Chaos Stone Tablet that Qin Shuangshuang had just devoured floated out. Unable to devour? What did that mean? Longao naturally knew that some people might not be able to devour the primal Chaos Stone Tablet even if they obtained it. For example, Bai Jing. When he had obtained the Lightning Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, he had prepared to let Bai Jing devour the Lightning Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Unexpectedly, Bai Jing was unable to devour it. Could Qin Shuangshuang's situation be the same as Bai Jing's? Unable to devour the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet? If that was the case, things would be very troublesome. After all, it wasn't easy to continue searching for another Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Who knew if he could find another Primal Chaos Stone Tablet? Even this Primal Chaos Stone Tablet had been given to him by Luo Xian. What was going on? Longao looked at the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in front of him gloomily. Helpless, Longao could only continue to return to the Donghuang Mountain and begin searching for Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, hoping that Qin Shuangshuang could devour another Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. That's Longao. Just as the two of them continued searching for Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, they suddenly saw a figure in the distance. Ling Chengfei's face instantly darkened. He said, "I knew he was lying. What a shameless person." Chapter 2805. Luo Xian's expression turned ugly. She had thought that Longao would definitely leave the Donghuang Mountain after obtaining the tablet. Longao had already said before that he obtained the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet in order to save his wife. But now, since Longao had already obtained the tablet and was still here, didn't that mean that she had been tricked by him? Thinking of this, Luo Xian's face was filled with killing intent. Before Ling Chengfei could say anything, Longao, who was not far away, seemed to have noticed the two of them and quickly came over. In the blink of an eye, Luo Xian only snorted coldly. She had been full of confidence in the other party, but who would have thought that it would take less than a day? This made her feel extremely disappointed. Ling Chengfei's expression was also extremely gloomy as he said with an ugly expression, "Longao, do you think that you can show off in front of us just because you have a spatial chaos divine artifact?" In just an instant, Longao already knew what the two of them were thinking. He sighed deeply and said helplessly, "Luo Xian, this is your tablet. My wife can't devour this tablet at all, so I have to find other tablets." "Can't devour?" Luo Xian was very surprised and said, "Longao, your wife's luck is really bad. From what I know, almost everyone can swallow the Primal Chaos Tablet. However, there are some who are unlucky and cannot swallow it." How could Longao not know about this? Whether it was Bai Jing or Qin Shuangshuang, they were the unlucky type. Luo Xian did not have the slightest bit of anger. She kept her tablet and continued, "The three of us will search together." Ling Chengfei did not say much because he felt that Longao was not bad. After all, if it was someone else who obtained the tablet, they would definitely choose to leave without hesitation. At that time, even they would not be able to find the other party. Not only that, Ling Chengfei was not a fool. He knew that Longao was not an ordinary person. Since things had already come to this, it was not a big deal to make friends. The three of them formed a team to search for the tablet. "Look, it's that person. Not only does he have a Primal Chaos Tablet that hasn't been devoured, he even has two heaven-defying Starry Sky divine artifacts. He has two sovereigns by his side. Who dares to attack him?" Many people had already discovered the three of them. By now, Longao had become completely famous. Not to mention the primal chaos stone tablet, just the fact that he could avoid being locked onto by the Starry Sky ruler was enough of a temptation. If it was just Longao alone, then there was no doubt that countless people would come out to snatch it. But now, no one dared to come out and provoke the two rulers of the Starry Sky. Unless they were out of their minds or had a death wish, no one was willing to come out. Luo Xian, Ling Chengfei, when did the two of you become someone's lackeys? Ha ha ha. A follower. Looking at the three people who suddenly appeared in front of them, everyone in the surroundings cried out in surprise. It's the three demon emperors. It seems like they have come to snatch the primal chaos stone tablet and Starry Sky divine artifact. Be it Luo Xian or Ling Chengfei, their faces did not look too good when they saw the three of them. The three demon emperors were the Grand Demon Emperor of the Starry Sky, the second Demon Emperor of the Starry Sky, and the third Demon Emperor of the Starry Sky. The three of them were blood brothers, and were rulers of the Starry Sky as well. The three Demon Emperors were extremely cruel characters to begin with. If they were to encounter Longao's incident, it was obvious what the outcome would be. Scram. Ling Chengfei was not afraid of the three of them. Even if he could not beat them, he could just leave. However, Luo Xian did not say anything more. Looking at the three of them before him, the three demon emperors burst out laughing maniacally. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Following the maniacal laughter of the three demon emperors, everyone in the surroundings stumbled backward and looked at the three demon emperors in horror. The three demon emperors were truly horrifying. Even against the two rulers of the Starry Sky, they could kill as they pleased. Luo Xian, Ling Chengfei, the three of us have no interest in you guys at all. You had best scram to one side. The three demon emperors glared at Longao with a deadly glare and said coldly, hand over the Chaos Stone steely in your hands and those two Chaos God weapons, and I can make the decision to let you off. Otherwise, the three demon emperors did not finish their words. However, the meaning behind them was clear. As long as the other party did not hand over the Chaos Stone steely and the two Chaos God weapons, they would have to kill him without a doubt. The three of you sure know how to boast shamelessly. What rights do you have to kill someone in front of me? Luo Xuan's temper was extremely fiery. In fact, it was even higher than the three demon emperors. Since they were long used to it, the three demon emperors were not bothered in the slightest bit. If it were just a single ruler of the Starry Sky, the three of them would not have any reservations at all. However, this was two rulers of the Starry Sky. The three of them had already decided that all they had to do was to kill this man and take away the Chaos Stone steely and the two Chaos God weapons. As for Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei, this was not the time to strike yet. After all, it would not do them any good. Luo Xian, Ling Chengfei, let me give you guys a word of advice. You'd better leave this place. Otherwise, the three of us will not rest until we're dead. Not rest until we're dead. The three demon emperors would not rest until they were dead. Even a ruler of the Starry Sky would not dare to offend them casually. After all, if the three demon emperors joined forces, it would not be difficult for them to kill a ruler of the Starry Sky. In the entire immortal world, no one would dare to provoke the three demon emperors unless they could gather more than 5 rulers of the Starry Sky. However, unless it was absolutely necessary, who would be willing to provoke the three demon emperors? Longao was very touched. He, Luo Xian, and Ling Chengfei were actually not friends. If it were someone else, they would definitely not be willing to get the three demon emperors for him. However, not only did Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei not snatch his Chaos Stone steely and the two Chaos God weapons, they did not even abandon him in the face of the 3 powerful demon emperors and left on their own. Just this point alone made the two of them worthy of being friends. Moreover, it was the kind of life and death friendship. Thank you, both of you. You should leave first. Longao also knew very well that even if Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei joined forces, they would not be a match for the 3 demon emperors. He had the Chaos Stone steely and was not afraid of any ruler of the Starry Sky at all. At worst, he could just enter the Chaos Hall. However, if the two sides really fought, the ones who would suffer in the end would be Ling Chengfei and Luo Xian. It was fine if they were not friends, but Longao now regarded them as true friends. It was because of this that Longao did not want anything to happen to them because of him. How could Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei not understand Longao's intention? The two of them instantly had a good impression of Longao. If it were someone else, they would be more than happy to stay and help. Chapter 2806. Friends. At this moment, both Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei had truly treated Longao as their friend. Haha, brother Long, you've underestimated us. Since we're friends, we should share the joys and sorrows. Longao's eyes shone brightly as he nodded his head in agreement. Are you out of your minds? In the eyes of the three demon dominators, Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei were indeed out of their minds. To fall out with them for the sake of an immortal emperor, what else could it be? Luo Xian let out a mocking laugh. You three. Luo Xian's disdain grew stronger. She was not willing to continue the conversation. Now that things had come to this, the three demon emperors knew very well that it was almost impossible for them to avoid the two of them and snatch the chaos divine artifacts and chaos steles from each other. Having this thought, the three demon dominators exchanged glances with one another. They immediately made their moves without any hesitation. Even if they failed to kill the two rulers of Star Sky, in their opinion, as long as they could trap Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei, one of them would be able to kill the other and rob the loot. In the blink of an eye, the first demon dominator was fighting Ling Chengfei, the second demon dominator was fighting Luo Xian, and the third demon dominator was charging at Longao. From the beginning to the end, the three demon emperors did not put Longao in their eyes. After all, he was a genuine ruler of the starry sky while Longao was just a mere immortal celestial emperor. It was impossible for Longao to survive a single blow from them. The crowd was utterly disdainful of Longao when they saw him trying to fight the three demon dominators. He knew it was impossible, yet he still insisted on doing it. He deserved to die. The crowd could not figure it out. Longao clearly had a space teleportation god weapon. As long as he hid inside the space teleportation god weapon, even the three demon dominators would not be able to locate him. But in the end, instead of hiding inside the space teleportation god weapon, he was planning to fight the three demon dominators. He was being reckless. The third axe of the 9 chaos axes, the ultimate blow of strength. Ever since he comprehended this move, Longao discovered that his strength had improved by leaps and bounds. Previously, he couldn't kill a half-step starry sky ruler, but after comprehending this move, he could easily kill a half-step starry sky ruler. As for contending against a starry sky ruler, it was almost impossible. Boom! There was a loud bang. The three demon emperor looked at the young man who had been pushed back 3 steps by him in shock. He had never expected that the young man would be able to resist his attack head-on. Moreover, he had only been pushed back 3 steps. Not to mention the 3 demon emperors. Even the others, including the 4 astral dominators, were shocked to the extreme. Was it true that the eternal immortal emperor could resist the starry sky ruler? He must be seeing things. Many people refused to believe it. After all, to their knowledge, the strongest martial artist in the immortal realm was the starry sky ruler. Even a half-step starry sky ruler would not be able to resist a starry sky ruler, let alone the immortal emperor. This was a law that no one could change. However, the young man in front of him had changed this law. I'd like to see how many of my moves you can resist. This time, he had completely lost face. As a dignified starry sky ruler, he had been defeated by a puny eternal immortal emperor. Not to mention the others, he himself would not be able to pass this test. Anger. Endless anger. Endless anger turned into endless murderous intent. The 3 demon emperors attacked again. This time, they even used their ultimate blow in order to kill the young man in one move. The first time might be an accident, but the second time, or even the third time, could it all be an accident? A sure kill move. How could Longao not understand the intentions of the 3 demon emperors? He snorted coldly in his heart. If it was before, he would not be able to contend against a starry sky ruler, But now, Longao was not worried. Even if he couldn't win, he could leave. As for Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei, Longao was not worried at all. Although it was impossible for the two of them to defeat the three demon emperors, it was also impossible for the three demon emperors to kill the two starry sky rulers. There was no doubt about this. The three devil emperors and Longao fought once again. This time, everyone believed that Longao would die without a doubt. In fact, they believed that Longao wouldn't be able to resist even one move. After all, the three devil emperors were furious to the extreme. But what was the result? What happened next shocked everyone. Even the four demon emperors who were fighting stopped abruptly and stared at the battle in front of them. Almost no one would be willing to choose this kind of fighting method. This was especially true when the disparity in strength was too great. Therefore, everyone couldn't figure out whether water had entered Longao's brain or not. He had unexpectedly chosen to fight head-on with the three demon emperors. He was simply acting recklessly. However, when everyone thought that Longao was undoubtedly going to die, Longao became braver and braver as he fought. He had actually exchanged dozens of punches with the three demon emperors in succession. However, he was still not killed by the three demon emperors. What was going on? Was Longao really that strong? No one was willing to believe that even if Longao had devoured the primal chaos tablet, he hadn't refined it. It was unheard of for him to fight against the star ruler with just the strength of an immortal emperor. However, Longao's cultivation level couldn't be compared with that of the three demon emperors. So, Longao had begun to succumb to their attacks. If this were to continue, he would undoubtedly die. Even though he possessed the immortal Yuan spirit, the outcome wouldn't be any better. Brotherling, I think Longao won't be able to hold on for much longer. Let's make a move. How could Ling Chengfei not see this? However, he was still incomparably shocked. Longao was able to resist the attacks of the three demon emperors head-on without refining the primal chaos tablet and becoming the star ruler. It was hard to imagine how monstrous Longao's strength would be once he refined the primal chaos tablet and became the star ruler. It was unimaginable. Both Ling Chengfei and Luo Xian knew that Longao wouldn't be able to hold on for much longer. If this were to continue, there would be no result. Thinking of this, the two of them immediately made a move. However, the Great Demon Emperor and the Second Demon Emperor had also reacted and immediately continued to fight. The two of them were very anxious. They were trapped by the Great Demon Emperor and the Second Demon Emperor. If the three Demon Emperors wanted to kill Longao, it would be too easy. As for why Longao didn't hide in the Space Chaos Divine Tool, the two of them naturally knew the reason. It was also because of this that the two of them considered Longao a true friend. If it were someone else, they would have fled long ago when facing the Star Ruler. How could they continue to fight with the Star Ruler? However, Longao was doing something impossible. Chapter 2807. Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei were extremely worried. Unfortunately, they were trapped by the first and second demon emperors and couldn't spare any effort to save Longao. As strong as Longao was, he couldn't fight the three demon emperors head-on. Gradually, Longao began to falter. He knew very well that if this continued, he would lose without a doubt. Rulers of the universe were indeed rulers of the universe. Even if the three demon emperors hadn't grasped the power of chaos, he couldn't fight them. They were too strong. Qin Shuangshuang's essence blood had only opened half of the non-attributed chaos stele, so Longao couldn't start refining it. Even if he tried, it would be futile. As for how to activate the other half of the non-elemental primal chaos stone tablet, Longao still didn't know. If he hadn't met Qin Shuangshuang in the immortal realm, Longao wouldn't have known that his non-attributed chaos stele hadn't been opened yet. He didn't need to open the other chaos steles, only his non-attributed chaos stele. What was going on? He couldn't figure it out. Fortunately, he had already opened half of it. As long as he thought of a way to refine the other half, it wasn't impossible. As the two sides fought, more and more rulers of the universe rushed over. Longao knew that he had to enter the Chaos Palace. If other rulers of the universe got involved, he would be in a lot of trouble even with Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei. There was no need to show off. The next second, Longao, who was fighting the 3 demon emperors, suddenly disappeared. This move again. The 3 demon emperors knew that Longao would do this, but they couldn't do anything. The spatial chaos stele was too powerful. If they could grasp the power of chaos, they might be able to lock onto it. But now, they couldn't. Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei finally breathed a sigh of relief when they saw Longao disappear. Now that Longao had escaped, they didn't want to continue fighting. The 2 of them and the 3 demon emperors couldn't do anything to each other. Luo Xian, Ling Chengfei, you should know what the 2 chaos steles in Longao's hands mean. Perhaps we can use them to grasp the power of chaos in the chaos stele. Shameless. Luo Xian cursed fiercely. The other space rulers came to the side of the 3 demon kings. One of them said, "The second demon king is right. If we can share these 2 chaos divine items, we might be able to obtain chaos energy." In everyone's opinion, Longao must have a close relationship with the 2. Otherwise, why would the 2 rulers of the stars lower themselves to help a mere immortal emperor? Could it be that the 2 of them were also after the other's chaos divine artifact? Everyone had their own agenda, so how could they let the 2 of them monopolize it? You guys are really shameless. Why should I share something that belongs to others with you? You can't control the power of primal chaos because you don't have the ability. It has nothing to do with Longao. Luo Xian is right. You are the rulers of the starry skies. Don't you have any shame? Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei were furious. They didn't expect everyone to be like them, but they couldn't be so shameless. Especially since Star Ruler was shameless. The rulers of the starry sky, including the 3 demon emperors, didn't seem to care at all. What a joke. It would be fine if it were someone else's possession, but the other side had 2 chaos divine artifacts and a chaos stele. If they could get their hands on the chaos divine artifacts, they might really be able to control the power of primal chaos. Of course, no one would give up such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Don't the 2 of you want to control the power of primal chaos? We do. Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei answered in unison without even thinking. Luo Xian sneered and said mockingly, "Let's not talk about the 2 of us. I believe any ruler of the starry skies would want the power of primal chaos from the chaos stele. However, there's a right to it. No matter how powerful the chaos divine artifact is, it belongs to Longao. What right do you have to snatch it?" If anyone else had said that, they would have been despised to death. What a joke. There was no such thing as a right to it in the vast starry skies where people ate each other. Strength was everything, and with strength, one could have everything. Moreover, the rulers of the starry sky wanted to take away the immortal emperor's possession. In the entire starry sky, only the 2 of them were able to obtain things in a right way. They wouldn't touch something that didn't belong to them. Not only that, the 2 of them wouldn't even kill the innocent unless someone provoked them on purpose. The 2 of them were none other than Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei. We don't care if you don't want to. As long as we can control the power of primal chaos, it doesn't matter if we take it by force. The winner is the king and the loser is the bandit. If you want to blame someone, blame it on the fact that he has the chaos divine artifact. Shameless. Luo Xian called them shameless again and prepared to attack. Ling Chengfei certainly wouldn't take a step back. Even in the face of dozens of rulers of the starry sky, the 2 of them didn't show the slightest fear. Right at this moment. The 2 of you, don't resist in the slightest. Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei, who were about to attack, suddenly heard Longao's spiritual sense transmission. They knew that Longao wanted them to enter the spatial chaos divine artifact. Although they weren't afraid of the crowd, the 2 of them knew that with their current strength, they wouldn't be able to resist so many rulers of the starry sky. Disappeared? Looks like it's that person. Seeing that Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei had disappeared into thin air and couldn't be located, everyone guessed that their disappearance must have something to do with that person. The more it was so, the more greedy they became. It would be a lie to say that they didn't want such a powerful spatial chaos divine artifact. Inside the Chaos Palace, looking at the space around them, both Luo Xian and Ling Chengfei were amazed. They had seen spatial starry sky divine artifacts before, but it was their first time seeing a spatial chaos divine artifact. Brother Long, I wonder how long we can stay in this space. Longao knew very well that Ling Chengfei had already seen through the clues, so he didn't hide it at all. He said helplessly, although I've obtained this spatial chaos divine artifact, I can't really control it, so outsiders can only stay here for 3 months. Just as expected. The two of them didn't have the slightest doubt. After all, Longao hadn't refined the chaos tablet yet. It was already good enough that he could enter the spatial chaos divine artifact, let alone control it. In their opinion, it was impossible. Not to mention Longao, even a ruler of the starry sky might not be able to really control this spatial chaos divine artifact. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.